They don't care.
Really?
Yeah, they're just like, whatever. As long as there's one cat, as long as they don't get close to him, he's fine. He just hisses at him and then runs away. But other than that, Panthro would let the puppy lick all over him. Like
Cat's into
Panthro
some
would,
weird stuff.
yeah. Panthro would literally, the puppy would straddle Panthro and lick his head. And Panthro would just sit there and meow. I'm like, a normal cat would just run away. I'm like, if you run away, the dog can't do that. So, yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to mute you guys and play the intro music, and then we'll get going.
All right.
This is what I have instead of coffee.
Let's hear it.
Got any Bactine?
Welcome to Box Press Radio. It is Friday, January 5th. And I'm Dan.
I'm Angela.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Zach.
Ashley?
And Ashley's my wife. I don't think you've been on the show in years.
Yeah, it's been a few.
Mhm.
Like the beginning.
You've not been on a Twitch show, for sure.
No.
How was you guys' week?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day was eventful.
Thanks.
Well, come on. You knew we were going to talk about it or at least mention it.
Okay, so here's the short story. New Year's Eve, we went to the club. I got upset because there was a certain person there that wanted to kiss Eric for New Year's Eve, and he told her no, but he would kiss her later. And I was just like, well, if you really want to kiss her, you can do it now. I don't really care. But then I had a lot of alcohol. I got jealous. Things didn't end well. I ended up, we all ended up leaving because I was that upset. And I drove home drunk, a little crazy.
Ooh.
Everybody thought they were going to die. And then when we got home...
so no pullover at
All
least.
kinds of great decisions,
No.
it sounds like.
No.
Casually slide by that everybody thought they were going to die.
Yeah. I like this joke one. I like this joke one. But yeah, when we got home, I was angrily cooking chicken nuggets.
I've never seen anybody rage eat chicken nuggets before, and then...
I kind of want to see video of this.
Yeah, it probably should have been on video.
I'm pretty sure she would have threw that on the pan and tried to cook my phone, too. So, yeah. It was... And even... She wasn't mad at me, though. This is what the fucked up part was about it. I'm like, but you're yelling at me, but I didn't do anything. Like... I don't know what to do at this point. I'm just like, all right.
Stop existing.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, they're there, hug, stuff, okay. It's getting to the point where I'm standing up and I'm like closing my eyes. I'm going to fall asleep standing up. So I'm like, yeah, all right, we're going to go to bed. You guys hash this out because I'm fucking tired.
You would have fun with that. Bye.
Yeah.
Basically. And the funny part was they actually didn't sleep together, which was funny because, you know, nobody got laid that night, basically. But they slept in, because we have the 2 queen beds upstairs now. They each slept in each bed because they were afraid if I came upstairs, I would be mad because they slept together.
No, it's because at that point I'm so fucking tired and exhausted and don't know what to do. I'm like, I'm really not in the mood. Like right now, that's the last thing on my mind.
Hi, Eric. How are you?
I heard.
We're talking about New Year's.
There's a piece of pizza over there if you want to. It's like leftover from the kids, but you know.
Yeah, I told him about it. I told
Okay.
him they took a little tiny bite out of it.
Yeah, just make it
Children
Say hi.
nibbling on the pizza.
I don't know if you can see him.
to my camera over here, so get down to where my head is, and then.
Ew.
I didn't say give me head. I said.
No, he bent over in front of me. Huh? Have a good night.
Yeah.
Love you too.
Oh gosh.
He's going to work. Anyway, so yeah.
You have
So
fun
they
with
wed to bed. We hashed it out. I thought he was going to choke me out when we fell asleep together. And then... So I was like, if I get in bed, will you choke me? And he goes, we're not having sex.
I feel like those aren't the same question, but okay.
You know, some people like to be choked during sex. Me. And
Look at how shocked I am right now. Give me a minute to tell you about how shocked I am.
Oh gosh.
so, yeah, and I was like, you're an asshole. And then we went to sleep, basically. And yeah, that was our New Year's. So,
Glad to hear you started off on the right foot.
we did. Yeah, it was amazing.
Woo, 2018!
I was like, if it had been any other person, basically, why I got jealous was this was a girl that he's known for over 15 years, and he's had a thing for her for those 15 years. And I feel like if something would happen between them, he would probably dump me off for her because they're both single. You know what I mean? So, I got a little jealous. But I have issues, so yeah.
Really?
Do
This is just a
tell.
podcast full of revelations.
Yes. But, you know, I'm working on it. I try.
Yeah, so it was an interesting way to kick off 2018 thus far.
Yeah.
But I mean, we still like up till that point, everything was pretty cool though. Like we did have a good time.
Yeah, they had really good food and stuff, and
Yeah, the prime rib was actually really damn good. So
Yeah.
yeah worth it.
Cool.
Do you have to pay to go into the party, or?
yeah, we paid. Actually, no, we got him for
You
free.
guys didn't, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got him for free. We did pay for Eric to get in, so he would have a ticket, but he paid us back
Right.
Okay.
when he got paid. So technically, we didn't pay.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Man, it sounds like it's been an exciting week for most everyone. Zero, I know
Yeah.
you had a adventure of sorts.
I mean, it was exciting. So,
It was a thing.
yeah. Well, so I was leaving work Friday to just go straight up to see my extended family in Pennsylvania. And the moment I left work and started driving, like a couple miles down the road, I was like, I'm not really getting any heat out of my vents at all, but that's cool. I don't really need it right now. And then like an hour later, like sun's starting to go down. I'm starting to hit the mountains. I go to hit that heat again, and after a couple of minutes, I'm like, all right, it should really be warmed up. And I put my hand up to it, and it's just freezing, like ice cold winds coming out of it. And I'm like, all right, that's not
bad.
that's bad. So I had to buy some more like, you know, thicker gloves and some coffee, and got myself the rest of the way up to the cabin. And by the time I was there, like I had to take a hot shower and sit in front of the fire for a good hour or two because I couldn't feel most of my body.
Ooh.
It was a solid 9
It's
or
like
10
driving
degrees.
a motorcycle.
Yeah, it was real bad. And I was like, all right. So while I was out there, I hit Walmart and got like as much like layered clothing as I possibly could because I knew I wasn't going to have heat on the way back.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think like 2/3 of the way home, or about halfway home, I start getting a check engine light. And I'm like, well, that's not good. And I pull over and call my dad and tell him. And he's like, well, just get home as soon as you can and we'll worry about it later. Okay. So I keep driving. And then my temperature light starts going off. So I pull over again and I'm like, well, now this is happening. He's like, well, do you see any smoke coming out of your car? And I'm like, nope. And as soon as I stopped moving my car, it went off. So I don't know. He's like, well, leave your car for a couple of minutes and keep driving down the road and see what happens. I'm like, all right. So I do that, and about like 10 minutes more down the road, it goes off again, and it doesn't stop going off. So I pull over and just turn the car off altogether and call him, and I'm like, okay, I absolutely cannot drive this car anymore. And he's like, well, how far away are you from a garage? I'm like, I'm still a decent amount away. Like, I can't drive to it, and I'm on the side of the highway. I'm not in a town, so I have no way to get to anything.
Right.
Well, it was just under 100 miles from my house, so my AAA will just tow me in the car, like, back to my house.
Wow.
Well, I call AAA up, and it takes them a half an hour just to answer the phone. Like, I sat on hold that entire time, and it's 10 degrees, and now the sun's going down again. And finally, I got someone on the phone, and it took them another 20 minutes because they could not figure out where I was, which wasn't that complicated. There's not that many roads out there, and I was on a major highway intersecting with another major highway.
Right.
It's not that difficult. Well, they told me they found somebody, and that they'd be there in about 2 hours.
Holy crap.
Which I'm like, it's going to be less than 7 degrees where I am in 2 hours. I absolutely cannot do that. That's going to be a problem. Luckily,
Right.
I had a friend in the town down the street that was going to bring me some coffee. But then the tow truck guy called me, and he's like, where are you at again? And I had to send him a screenshot of my maps. And he was like, oh, it's like 15, 20 minutes away. Like, fucking, they're retarded. Don't listen to that. I'll be there soon.
Right.
And then he picked me up, and we proceeded to talk about just how retarded those people are for pretty much the rest of the drive home, which felt pretty good. And then I proceeded to spend the rest of my New Year's Eve drunk at a friend's house. So
Success.
that was success. Yeah, and there wasn't
I mean,
much
at least
else.
you ended up drunk at some point.
I was determined to be drunk somewhere. Like, I had Crown Royal and wine in my car. Like, no matter where I was stuck, I was getting drunk.
You were getting drunk.
It's like, well, I
Definitely.
can't drive anyway.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely going to happen. The only other things that really happened to me over the past week or so have been I've started working on another podcast that we don't have our first episode ready yet. But it's going to be called Murder Park, Maryland, which I'm doing with, obviously other people from Maryland. And that's going to cover kind of some of the same stuff that we do here, with a focus also on politics and a couple of other random things. And then today I was actually pretty excited, just a work-related thing, because one of my least favorite people at some branch somewhere just got fired immediately, which is great, because I didn't really want to deal with him anymore. And the grumpiest person that I deal with, it sent an email to my boss telling me how proud he was of the work I was doing, which is great, because most of the people that call me are they just want to joke around and have a good time and not take anything seriously.
Right.
This guy, he'll call me up and be like, "How you doing?" Be like, "Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?" He's like, "I fucking hate it here. Everyone's on drugs and everything sucks." I'm like, "All right, man. What can I help you with?"
Planet Earth? Is that what we're talking about?
But
Right.
he's always the grumpiest fucking person I have to deal with, and then he's always so happy to be dealing with me. So that was real nice. I was excited about that.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
that's been about it for me.
Well, the only other thing that we have going on this week is tomorrow is Wednesday's birthday.
Oh.
So
Nice.
Wednesday turns 6 tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, goodness. That's unbelievable.
I know. We're so old, right?
Elderly.
Oh gosh.
Mhm.
Yep.
It doesn't seem
So-
possible sometimes.
Yeah. So we spent the whole day today running around getting birthday presents and grocery shopping, and yeah. Tomorrow we have to pick up the cake because they want 24 hours notice. I'm like, that's stupid. Considering they made a cake for us like within an hour of us shopping
Right.
at Kroger. They're like, oh, we want 24 hours notice. I'm like, bullshit.
That's where we got Titus's cake. It was really good.
Yeah, it was
Everybody
a good
Yeah,
liked
they
it
make-
too.
They make great cakes, but
It just
the
takes
last
them
time-
24 hours. That's why.
Yeah.
the last time I ordered a cake though, like I ordered one for Samantha's birthday and I messed up and ordered it at the Kroger that wasn't like very far from that Kroger. So we went to the wrong Kroger to pick up the
no.
cake. And I was like, but I thought I ordered it here. And so they're like, well, we're just going to make you a cake really quick. So I know they can make fucking cake within an hour.
They just didn't want to.
Exactly. Like she got bitchy with me on the phone. I was like, so can I just pick it up tomorrow morning? No. We need 24 hours notice. So 1 o'clock tomorrow. Because it was 12:30. I'm like, that's not 24 hours. That's 24 and a half hours.
Show up at 12:30. Bitch, it's been 24 hours. Where's my
I
cake?
feel like my
Where's
cake,
my cake?
spending $21 on a fucking Pikachu cake.
Order a second one. What do you want on the second one? I want it to say, fuck you, bitch.
Exactly.
And then you get to eat it.
That's for you.
Just come back to pay for it and be like, nah, you can keep that.
Looks
That
real
would be
good,
rather funny.
Yeah.
though. You spelled bitch wrong.
Mhm.
They probably
Basically.
would, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We didn't really do anything for New Year's Eve. You worked.
Yeah, I worked. But I got double pay, so that's always nice.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
I
is a-
miss getting double pay like that. So I would work
Yeah.
any holiday because of that.
So we don't even
Hookers
get.
make double on holidays? Like
No,
time and a
they
half?
don't. Nope, they don't.
Say we don't even get that. Now we actually have to put in time if we want to get paid for Christmas.
Yeah, I know a lot of bigger companies are going to that because it was just costing them way too much money. They were like, we're going to just stop paying them extra and, I don't know, maybe make them use some of their overtime to get paid.
I'm actually
Right.
surprised they don't do that with us.
Yeah. Well,
Get off.
I think in an industry like yours where they need people to come in and take care of people, you can't like risk people calling off or just not showing up, so they incentivize them to actually show up.
Right.
Yeah, I suppose.
Whereas like a big company like that, like, you know, if one person or even 2 or 3 people don't show up, they have enough backup people to
True. Yeah.
fix the issue.
We don't have enough people to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if your cook doesn't show up, there's just no one to cook.
Yeah, we're fucked.
Old people are getting peanut butter and jelly real slow. Just setting the jar out with a knife on the table. Good luck.
Oh, we have peanut butter and jelly in the in the kitchen for them to make at night if they don't have enough snacks and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
you gotta
already
watch them.
in.
You don't want fat old people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you guys do anything else this past week?
Not really. We basically
Yeah.
just, I went to work. I had pretty much an early night every single night except for last night. So which that on one hand that kind of sucked, but on the other hand it was kind of nice to be able to come home early and like put the kids to bed and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it also does kind of suck for wanting to, like actually get paid and not have to dip into my PTO time for that. But
Right.
whatever, it's gonna roll over next month anyway, so it's like, whatever. As long as I have enough for my birthday week vacation that I'm gonna take, I'll be all right.
You're like 4th week off of the year or whatever.
Your
Hey.
birthday week? Nice.
When is your
Well-
birthday week?
I would like that.
Be the
I know.
January 23rd, so it'd be like the 22nd through the 26th, I think, technically, because Monday through Thursday or whatever. So something like that. Something along those lines, anyway. But yeah, I don't really have any big plans. I mean, like I said, I might go see Star Wars if it's still playing at the time, but like other than that,
99% sure it's still going to be in theaters.
Yeah.
oh yeah. But I'm just saying, like, you know, barring any unforeseen like changes or whatever, this is where the Emperor shows up. It is going as I have foreseen it.
Cool.
I feel weird about like vacation time because I've never had a job where I've gotten vacation time before. Like I've had a couple of jobs that'll be like, we'll give you a week if you work here for 5 years or some stupid shit, but
You're right.
but I'm not used to it, and the way my job handles it is basically like we give you a set amount at the beginning of the year and then figure it out. I'm like, it is month 1 and you're telling me how much time I have over the course of the next year to take off. Like that
Right.
that's a lot for me. I'm not used to planning something like that out. Like I'm
Yeah.
just gonna kind of leave it there, I guess, as long as possible until I particularly see a need for it.
You don't have to work like the first at least 3 months before you take it?
No.
Really?
No,
most
I-
places require you to work like a probationary period
Right.
before you get like your time off and your insurance and stuff like that.
Well,
No,
my
they-
work made me work 30 days to get insurance, but as soon as I hired in, I got a week of personal time.
Yeah, that's more or less what this company did. Like, especially since I didn't have all year, they were like, you have like 3 or 4 days that you can use, and I'm like, okay. Like and I didn't even know about it until December, so I just kind of used them all in December.
Yeah, we got every year in January, we get a week of personal time, and then we get however much vacation time on our year, on our year mark. So basically, I get a week every January, and then at the end of March, I get 2 weeks up until my 5th year, and then I will get another week.
That's awesome.
So many
Yeah.
people at work quit before they'll take their time off if they got it ahead of time.
Yeah.
So when I was at the brewery, they were one of the places that did the thing where you don't get any vacation or sick time for the first whole year.
Yeah.
Mostly because
Right.
like they knew most of their employees would leave for one reason or another before their first year, so they didn't have to pay them for time off. So that was kind of weird. But I was also salaried, even though I shouldn't have been. So that made it
Right.
even more strange because like you don't get any paid time off. Also, you don't technically have to be here at a certain time.
But you did.
But I also had a really weird, strict schedule. So nothing made sense there. But they were one of the places that said you don't get any paid time off for a year.
Right.
So,
See, and I'm in a really weird position in my job too. Like everyone else in my department's been there for years, and I think like the year or so before I started, everybody in my department was salary, and we don't have a strict schedule. So I guess everybody really enjoyed that. And then being taken off and being put back on hourly and getting a set amount of time is like a step down from what people are used to.
yeah.
And this is the biggest step up for me. So everyone else is like, I can't believe we have to deal with this shit. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I have this shit. Like,
It's like the complete opposite reaction from you. Yeah.
yeah, so that's weird. But, luckily there's another new guy there and he feels the same way about it because he's never had a job like that either. So
Mm.
I'm not alone.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's hard to find places that will be like that, where they're giving you things right up front. Like where I work too, they also twice a year they give you money to get clothing and like umbrellas and chairs and lunch boxes and gym bags and sandals and shit. Like it all has their company logo on it, but I mean, I basically have clothes to wear to work, and we have chairs if we need to like go to a camp out or some shit. So like, and I have flip flops every summer, all
pretty
for
cool.
free. Like they give you like $300 to spend on their shit.
And they get free advertising.
Nice.
Basically, yeah. And they give you the time up front, and then if I need to like go to a doctor's appointment or something and I don't have any time left to take, then they're just like, okay, well, you know, just work through your lunch for a couple of days and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
extremely lenient on a lot of things, and you know, so it's
Well,
it's hard to find companies like that.
Well, especially in your case, they kind of have to be because you're the only one really doing your job. So,
Well, I have somebody helping me now, but yeah, for a good 2 years, it was only me doing my job.
Gosh, I didn't realize you'd been there that long now.
Yeah, this is my 3rd year.
Oh wow.
I think, didn't you
Nice.
start around the time we moved up here?
Yeah,
I think
it was
so.
around there.
And Titus is 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, in March it'll be 3 years.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Wow.
Word.
So, did you guys watch any of the television or movies or listen to anything?
I watched The Mick because that had a new show on. I watched what is Marvel's
Runaways.
Runaways.
I've seen that. Or at least.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think it's pretty interesting the way they set it up and the thing that they're doing with like they're watching their parents and stuff. It's pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
I think I'm pretty much caught up on that, maybe 1 or 2 episodes behind. I liked it better at the start. I don't like it as much now.
Well, I think because they figured out what's going on now, it's hard to keep it going.
Yeah, they kind of
Right.
had their one trick, and it's kind of run out of steam.
Yeah, so now it's kind of like, okay, well, they're starting to repeat themselves now, and I don't know. It's like everything just came out at once, and now they're just trying to keep the steam going, and it's kind of dying. I also watched Look Who's Talking Too, or no, just Look Who's Talking.
I love the
Mhm.
first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw it on Hulu, and I was like, I have to. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Christy Allen.
So what? Yes, before she got fat and
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when she was
The
hot.
fat went
Yeah.
straight to her head.
And John Travolta was skinny at that point
Yeah.
too. He's kinda
Yeah.
Skinny
fat.
and not gay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and not creepy looking.
Also not a
Right.
ghost.
Yeah, also not a ghost.
When was he go?
Where?
The gay ghost.
Who?
Yes.
Oh.
What?
I forgot.
Where?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, did you guys
So
see
weird.
that Ralph Garman got fired from his radio station in
Yes.
California and
Oh.
started his own daily radio podcast show? He's got
Yes.
9,000 patrons on Patreon or something like that.
Do you know
Man,
what
he
it's
needs
called?
to give me some.
I don't remember what it was called, but if you just look up Ralph Garman, you'll find it.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah.
I need to get me some of his patrons.
I mean,
All right.
be a host on a national or a regional radio network, I guess.
And then get fired.
Yeah.
And then get a patron page. Yeah.
Also, maybe be able to do incredible voices like the gay ghost.
Well, I'm out.
Yep.
I'm out.
Well, in your case, with your main podcast, you just have to do like porn.
I mean, I
Basically, that's
could.
what the
Yeah.
direct connection there would be kind of 1-to-1 with the radio station.
Mhm, exactly. That's the point.
We technically have 3 patrons. Technically, one is me. Even though I put it under Andrew's name.
And technically, one is me. So
Um, and then we have 2 others.
Nice.
So we're getting $10 a month right now.
Very cool. Very cool.
But you start somewhere.
Yep. Yep.
It's true. It's better than 0.
That is true.
I mean,
Ow.
$10 a month, that'll pay for your hosting and everything pretty much. Or close to
Well,
it.
yeah, and with basically everybody's on a second tier besides us. Like basically our $2 a month pays for the fees.
Right.
And then their 2 $5 donations is what we get basically. But we're gonna send out stickers because that tier doesn't really get anything besides extra content and we said stickers, and then we have
Stickers are expensive.
well, Vistaprint has them for like $4 for a sheet of 10.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's
It's not terrible.
That's really expensive per sticker if you were buying a whole bunch of stickers. But yeah, if you just need a couple, it's not that bad.
Yeah, we only need 2 right now.
Yeah, because like when I was buying them for the brewery, I was ordering like $6,000 or $8,000 worth of stickers, and it would be enough for like a month or two.
Well, yeah,
People
that's
really
because
like
you're giving them out to everybody.
No,
Yeah.
like people, they did
Like
not give
bumper
them out. People had to
stickers?
fucking buy them, and they were expensive.
Well, regular stickers, not even bumper stickers.
Yeah, just like regular, like little, you know what they are. We handed out a bunch of them. I think I actually still have some in my glove box from the.
Yeah, bumper
from the
stickers are a
refund.
little
I
bit more
still like the
expensive.
phone thing. That's
Yeah.
one of the coolest things I like.
Yep. But yeah, stickers are cool. People like them, and patches for some reason. People get into patches.
Well, they're easy
Yeah.
enough and small enough.
Yeah. You guys should do tassels.
There you go. There you go. That's
Those
a
are
good
I don't know
idea.
expensive
how
too,
you do
though.
that, but
Yeah.
you got to get that tassel sponsor.
I would have to actually make them because I know how to make them.
I
Yeah.
mean, you buy like a suction cup.
That is
and,
not how you make them. No.
and you just like hot glue gun some what do you call that stuff you throw on the tree? Tinsel. Hot glue gun some tinsel onto a suction cup.
That sounds like a hot
Yeah.
mess of.
I mean,
how
if
that
this was
wouldn't
the
turn
red,
out.
if this was the red green show, that would be perfect.
Right?
But you just have to instead of the,
No,
instead of the tinsel, it needs some
Duct
duct tape.
Gonna say, and you don't even use the hot glue. You just use the duct tape for everything.
Yeah, you just cut strips of the duct tape down at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Even-
trying to get it off your nipples later. Ow.
Do they
Yeah.
show that show anymore?
I don't think so.
That was
I
on
don't know.
PBS, right?
Yeah, I think they
Yeah,
still do. I don't know if they do
probably
any
at
new
some
episodes, but
It's probably at like 3 a.m. You know?
yeah, usually it was late on the weekends. Most when I usually would catch it was late on the weekends. It was a good show
I
though.
never saw it until I married you and we moved to Fort Wayne.
Yeah, at my grandparents' house.
Yeah, I never really watched PBS growing up. I was spoiled and watched G.I. Joe and Batman.
That's what I watched because that's what we had.
Well, see, I watched that stuff too, but on the other hand, I actually I grew up with Sesame Street and all that stuff. Like when I was a kid, what do you call
Arthur
it? Where in the World's Carmen?
Oh,
Well, Arthur and Wishbone was a little bit later for
That's
me, but
true.
like you had like
watch
Where in the
that.
World's Carmen San Diego.
I
And,
did watch that too.
Yeah,
I like
watched
that.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
wasn't only on PBS though, because I know I watched that on like a regular network.
Well, you I know they
That's-
did. I think they tried to revitalize it, but I don't know. I don't know when that was. I
Unless
think
I
it
was
was.
watching PBS and I didn't know it was the PBS channel.
had- yeah.
That's possible too.
I'm pretty
But
sure.
it seems like they also, it might have been like a local station would like
Right.
broadcast like Saturday mornings or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, they had a cartoon show that was Where in the World's Carmen San Diego. That was good too. That was on Fox.
That's
That
the
might be
one
what
that
you're
I
thinking
watched,
of.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm
I
talking
watched
about the
that.
game. I'm talking about the game
Game
show.
show.
that they had.
That's the
Yeah.
one I remember.
Oh, yeah. I don't
And
even know
that
what
Ghost
is.
Riders. I used to watch some Ghost Rider.
I had the books. I wanted one of those pens around my neck. Yes, I loved Ghost Rider. That was a great show too.
Yeah.
It was a weird show, and I didn't even realize until years later that Sam Jackson was like Jamal's dad. I was like, holy shit! No wonder I love this show.
You know what I've been wanting to find and rewatch is like Legends of the Hidden Temple and Double
Yes.
Dare and all those again.
I want to watch the movie that they made because they just made like a little made-for-TV movie for Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah, I
I
wanna
actually
see
heard
that
it was
too.
pretty good. Like
Did you ever see
for
that
a,
show?
Mm-mm.
You never saw those? Like the game shows?
What channel?
It was
Probably.
on Cartoon Network, I think.
Oh, I didn't
It was
get.
on-
Nickelodeon. It was
I didn't
Nickelodeon.
no,
get
it was on
those.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I was
When I
about to
was a
say
kid.
definitely Nick.
Well, I didn't know if maybe you saw those when
Maybe
you
on
were like,
vacation or at my
yeah, when you were
Animals.
like 12 or something.
Possibly.
Because those were on like all the way up until I went to high school, I think.
Or if I went over to a friend's, like my friend down the street.
Well, that's what I meant. Like, I didn't know if you saw it on like
That's the only time like I knew like.
snuck it in on the hotel TV or something on a vacation.
Yeah, usually Dad took over the TV. So we had to
Yeah.
every once in
My
a while
un-
I'd be able to watch like Dr. Quinn.
Yeah, my uncle snuck me onto a taping of one of the episodes. So in one of the episodes, behind that big ass logo, I'm sitting in the audience somewhere.
Wait, for which one?
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Oh, okay.
Because he was working for Universal at the time, because he was like helping them haul in all the stuff to make the sets and all that. And so he ended up sneaking me through the back, like I got to go past the craft service table and
That's pretty awesome.
got to go and sit in the audience. And then it was like 2 different episodes. I don't even remember who the contestants and stuff were or whatever. I just remember it was on there. It's like, well, which episode are you on? I'm like, well, you're not going to see me because it's like when they do those commercial breaks, they pan through the audience and then they have the big Legends of the Hidden Temple logo. So somewhere behind that, I'm sitting up there.
So was it fun to be at the taping, or was it just kind of like sitting there and then see somebody run by?
I mean, it was a lot like watching it on TV, except for because they basically were filming like 2 episodes back to back. They had like 2 different sets of contestants. So in between the whatever the challenge was that they were doing, they would swap them out, and there would be like a break in between, and then they would go and do like the pan to the audience, like we'll be right back, and then they did that like twice. Right. When they swapped everybody out. So I mean, it was a lot like watching it on TV, only it was live and in your face. I mean, not in your face, but you know what I mean. So that's about the only difference, really. And then just the pause in between, like, okay, then they had to reset everything up and get the other kids out there and everything else. So, I mean, it's pretty cool to see how that all worked, and you got to see like the stage lights and the stuff that you don't see when you watch it on TV. So it's like, oh, peel back the curtain a little bit,
Yeah, we got. When I was in elementary school, they took us to like a local news station where they were filming some like talk show and Oprah was on. And they were like, oh, you'll get to, go and be a part of the Oprah show or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I remember going and we sat there for like 6 hours and it was just like the most boring thing in the world. Nothing was going on.
Right, yeah.
Like they talked for an hour and like, it would be like, talk for 10 minutes. Okay, 25-minute break. Please applause. They'd hold up a sign. We'd all sit there and clap and be like, can we leave now?
Yeah.
That was not a fun one. And it wasn't even the real Oprah show, so we didn't get shit under our chairs or anything. We were sitting in some bleachers.
I always wondered about that.
Right.
Yeah, there might have been some gum stuck under there somewhere.
Ew.
That's really horrible.
Do you see Ellen's got her own game show now?
I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably something that should have happened like a long time ago. I'm just surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought her show already was kind of a game show.
Right.
That's true.
It was a gay show.
Well, she always had games on her show,
I
but
see
they
what
just
you did there.
put it as a new thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I know people. I've never seen that show. I don't know if it was good or not, but I know a lot of people really liked it.
Yes, she dances a lot.
I wouldn't say that it was good. It's engaging. Like I've gotten stuck at like car dealerships where that's the only thing on TV, and I actually got kind of sucked into it, even though I didn't really care about any of the things that were happening.
I think I've seen
it's
it
just
on,
like
but
one
I've
of
never heard the audio even.
It's a normal talk show. Like she has people on, she talks to them.
Except she's like weird and has a lot of energy, so that's kind of cool.
I was gonna say, like, she dances a lot. Like that's not. I'm not lying about that. She does a lot of dancing.
I like the thing when she her producer Andy, when she has them go to the scary houses and stuff like that.
Oh
yeah.
I think that's kind of fun, but yeah, I don't usually watch her whole show. I just watch the little clips of things.
I just know she kind of looks like Justin Bieber because I've seen those like photo swaps often enough.
She kind of does though.
It's literally like I know 2 things about her. She's really gay, and she looks like Justin Bieber.
Oh, you know
she's got a hot
Dory.
wife, man.
She plays who?
Dory.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Just keep singing. Just keep. How did you not know that?
Why would I know that?
It sounds exactly like her.
I know.
I didn't know what she sounded like. I've never.
Like she doesn't even change her voice for it.
No, I actually used to watch her old stand-ups, like even before all of that, because she was a stand-up comedian to start with, and she actually,
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, she actually had some pretty funny stand-ups. I mean, you could kind of tell she was gay then, but I mean, it's one of those like, didn't really think about it at the time. It's like, okay.
I like that movie Mr. Wrong before she really came out. Like everybody's saying she was gay and all
don't
that.
know what that is.
That was a movie.
An
old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a 90s movie.
Yeah. It was her and what's that guy from While You Were Sleeping? I'm pretty sure that was him.
I have no
I
idea.
could be wrong, but Yeah, it was funny. I thought it was.
I like Ellen. I think she's a really great actress.
Yeah, from everything I've heard, she's pretty great. Like, I know she's always happy.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen clips of her, like, you know, gifs on the internet and shit like that, and she's always, like, smiling and happy.
Yeah,
Actually,
she's-
for one of my burlesque shows, I forgot which one it was, but one of the girls actually did Ellen,
Mhm.
That probably
And-
was hot.
and she dressed up like Ellen, and she had the chair and everything, like she was doing Ellen's talk show. And then she got up and started dancing around and taking her clothes off.
Oh,
And
that would be.
See, I would watch that talk show.
it
Right.
was actually a really good skit. Like, it was amazing, and she did really well. And I think if we had sent it to Ellen, I think she may have been, like, happy about it. But
Yeah.
She might have won a trip out to California, where she taped it? Los Angeles?
Yeah.
I didn't even know what her
Probably.
voice sounded like.
Evidently not.
I don't know anything about this person. Who is this Ellen?
to
I
the
like her more
Google.
now that I know she's Dory.
Yeah, she's a Dory. Just keep swimming.
I love Dory. She's adorable.
I can never remember the damn address, even though she said it like 12,000 times. I keep getting the numbers messed up.
Yeah, Willoughby Drive, whatever.
Wallaby Way, but I can't remember the damn numbers. Like, you know.
I didn't
Yeah.
even remember that much, so good job. If you're ever
I'm
lost
sitting
under
here
the
wondering what the
ocean-
fuck he's talking about, because I don't remember that shit either.
On the
In
first
which-
one, where she's trying to.
Yeah. Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
She knew the address of where they took Nemo to, the dentist's office.
Do you
It's a-
know how stoned I was watching that movie?
This is why you can't remember.
At one point, she thought she had gills.
No,
Okay,
I
first-
actually knew some people who took acid and watched that movie and
Oh, dear.
thought that they were drowning
Well,
Sounds like a great time.
because they kept holding their breath because they thought they were underwater too.
Oh, those poor bastards.
Yeah.
Oh.
Darwin, get in here. We have a case for you.
They drowned without any water around them.
Right. So what happened here?
It's a skill, really, a talent.
Yes. But yeah, that's pretty. I mean, our weeks were pretty normal as far as what we did anyway. Like I said, I went to work, had a lot of early nights.
We were
And
talking about TV shows, babe.
I know we moved on, but it's like we started there, then all of a sudden we just breezed right into fucking TV and entertainment. So, other than that, like I haven't really watched anything lately.
Oh, I finished Ready Player One.
Yes, you did, and you loved it apparently.
I did, because it had the perfect amount of nerdy shit and romance
Right.
and intrigue. Like, it was amazing.
Well, you'll probably enjoy the movie then.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah,
When
I know.
does that
it's
come
gonna
out?
be-
Do we have a date for that?
It's in March is when it comes out.
Yeah, it's
This
not
March?
super far away.
Oh, I'm excited. I want to see it.
Yeah, I think it looks super fun. I think it's going to be a terrible adaptation of the book, but it should be super fun.
You showed me.
Yeah,
the
I
trailer,
hate
right?
that.
Or did I look at that? I think. I think.
I'm
I
gonna
did.
do
It
what
was
I
in the
usually
beginning of
do.
Star Wars.
Oh, okay, that's it.
I'm gonna watch the movie, and then I'm gonna read the book.
And do it bass backwards. Okay.
Well, because
Oh,
everyone's
for the
always
best,
like the
really.
book was better. I'm like, all right, well, let me see the shittier thing first, and then I'll go see the better version of it. Like, fucking,
Right.
That makes
Well,
more
books
sense.
are usually better, but
Yeah. So I'll read the book
Well,
I
after.
get it.
You can't get as many details in a movie, like adapting it from a book, because there's so much in the book too that is going to be like what you're thinking of in your mind, and the details that you can write down and trying to act them out, you're gonna lose some translation there. So
I
Yeah.
like that
And on-
Martin movie. Martin,
And on
uh,
top of that, you're gonna have the whole thing of like there's copyrighted material in here that the people who own the rights to it are not gonna sign off on. Like he has a DeLorean, and it has the Ghostbusters logos on the gull wing doors. And the license plate says Ecto 88. Well, I'm pretty sure, Sony's not going to sign over their Ghostbusters shit, even though, I mean, it might be good for them at this point.
I mean, they show a DeLorean in the movie trailer.
Yeah. Well, with Steven Spielberg's on board and that, and Amblin Entertainment and all that, that's all under his thing. So that's cool. But because, he's under, I think Warner Brothers is the company that's actually making it. So Warner Brothers has their stuff. Steven Spielberg brings in the stuff he has rights to. But then like stuff like the Ghostbusters stuff, that's Sony, and
Well,
how
like every video game ever in there too.
right.
Yeah.
But even then, like the older ones, I know they could probably get away with using those because they have a lot of the old school like Atari 2600 stuff, and even older stuff than that, like some of the first PC games and shit. So that like isn't going to be as big a deal, I don't think, but trying to get a lot of the other stuff that's in the book in there is not going to happen. Like, I already know the big race scene you see in the trailer is not in the book. That's something they invented for the movie, which I'm not mad at. Like, that makes more sense because most kids nowadays have played like, pretty much any Need for Speed or whatever game. So that's something that, younger kids can get this. Because if you try to show stuff like Joust, like from the Atari 2600 days, like granted the Atari was before my time, so like I'm aware of it, but I never actually played it or anything, so it's a little bit over my head. But it's still enjoyable. Like I'm not, not stupid and and thinking, oh, this is dumb. Why is he playing that shitty ass game?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think it looks good. I hope it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting it necessarily to be like the best movie I've ever seen or anything, but as long as they at least do a decent job of bringing the source material in and staying as true to it as they can, then that's perfectly fine with me.
Uh-huh.
I'm not expecting it to be Gone with the Wind or anything, and even then I hate that movie too. So
I
do
just want it to be
too.
fun.
yeah, I just want to be entertained. That's all I want.
So how do you go from that to Gone with the Wind?
Well, it's typically the greatest movie anyone's ever seen, according to
I've never seen it.
It
so I can't
drives
say.
me nuts.
you can watch it, but everybody in the movie is terrible. And it's about the South during the Civil War, but they're trying to make them look like good people, and it's like, nope, this is wrong. This is all fucking wrong.
I keep trying to watch that movie because my mom absolutely loves it, and that movie just sucks too fucking hard. Like, I cannot watch even half of that movie.
I mean, I'd rather watch the TV series North and South, but that's only because Patrick Swayze's in it. And even though I know he doesn't do it, I'm just waiting for him to fucking kick somebody.
Roadhouse.
It's like the only reason to watch that movie.
I just
Or that-
hate how she's always like, tomorrow's another day after she just like all the stuff she did, like remarried that guy that
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, she's the ultimate like procrastinator. Everything is tomorrow. She never deals with anything at the time it's supposed to be dealt with. Just fuck it, I'll do it tomorrow. Like, all right. Although if she'd have said, fuck it, I'll do it tomorrow, I would have been like, huh? Did she just say what I think she said? Okay, well, all right, cool. But then, yeah, and the whole thing is like, everybody makes it out to be this big love story between, Clark Gable and her. And it's like, no. She's busy with this other dumbass person the whole time in the movie.
Yeah, Ashley.
First of all, his name is Ashley, and he doesn't have a chainsaw for a hand, so he's automatically worthless as far as I'm concerned.
The first Ashley I knew that was a guy was from that movie. Then I actually met a guy named Ashley.
I always feel like people that name their kids, like, obviously, like, other genders' names, or the wrong gender's name, are just, like, I wish we had had the other one.
Nice.
I don't know. It's always like, you get, like, the Ashleys and Kellys. I'm trying to think of other...
Francis.
Frank.
Where's Francis?
Yeah.
That's all I can think of now. Like, where's Francis?
There's another one. There are some really shitty names out there. Like, my grandmother had a brother named Searle, which is terrible.
There's the ones that are kind of like sort of, I guess you could say ambiguous, like Jesse or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess she did have a brother, Meredith.
Meredith isn't. Yeah.
That's like
Grey's
I've
Anatomy.
never
Meredith.
heard of another guy ever named Meredith.
Yeah.
There.
I've
Is
only
that
heard
a
of.
guy's name?
No,
Meredith?
one guy.
I mean, I've only heard like that be a guy's name, but it was his last name. That's Burgess Meredith. So I mean, that's okay. It's a last name, but like as a first name, it's a little weird.
Yeah, kind of strange.
Well, back in the day, it wasn't strange.
Back in the day, people did a lot of weird shit.
Right.
I mean, I guess when you have 12 kids, you have to just kind of pick one.
Yeah, it's like, well, fuck it. You're Tim today, and you're Jane, but I'm a boy. I don't care. You're Jane now.
Well,
I don't care. I ain't
and
got
they
time
had
for this shit.
almost-
Barry.
They had almost all the girls had names that started with the letter B, almost, or a bunch of them.
Well,
Betty, Bonnie, Barbara.
Barry's not a girl.
Barry's
though.
not a girl. So half of the girls started with a B because there was Luann,
Eva.
Eva, yeah, and then what's the other one?
Eva Longoria?
No,
Oh.
I know an Eva.
Betty, Barbara, Bonnie.
Not the Eva Longoria you're thinking
Eva,
of, but I know
Luann.
Eva Longoria.
Who am I forgetting? Oh, Jeannie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
All good names with good
Is her
people.
name Burton?
No, that's the dog, honey. Although every time you guys say that, all I can think of is Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China.
He's adorable.
Yeah.
Although, this dog is...
The biggest, fattest chihuahua I've ever seen.
Well, he's a Chihuahua. Chihuahua. Wow, I'm not even drinking. He's a Chihuahua rat terrier mix, so he's a bigger dog.
So it's
The
a giant
Chihuahua.
rat, basically.
Yes. But he is also spoiled and very picky about who can put him outside and who he allows to just be around him at all times.
So you can't go on vacation at all.
I mean, you can, but it's not advisable.
It took I've been around him for 2 years, so he trusts me.
Mhm.
But whenever Andrew comes in, he barks and growls at Andrew for at least 5 minutes, and then
Even
Gets
after
tired
I've
and
walked,
gives up.
yeah,
even after I've like walked by him like 12 times, like I go into another room, I come out of that same room, and he starts barking again. Like, motherfucker, you just met me 2 seconds ago. Like, I know dog short-term memory is shit, but come on.
yeah. So he won't let Andrew take him outside because the step to our garage is large, and he's kind of scared to go down it. He's only gone down it like once, and then he won't go down it again. And so you have to pick him up and put him in the garage, but you have to pick him up a certain way, and he will only let certain people pick him up.
So does the
How
dog
do you pick him up
hold
a
it
certain
then
way?
till
Like,
you come home,
By a
or
front
what?
leg and a back leg?
No,
I
like
can only think of like one way to pick up a small dog like that.
yeah, it's you basically have to pick him up from behind, and that's only if he lets you pick him up. But
Right.
if you
I
put
mean, are we
his
talking
leash on
like
him,
cradling
though,
a baby, or like you just stick your hand between like front and back legs? Because that's how I pick up our little dogs.
I'd have to show you. And even then, I don't do it properly, but he trusts me, so he lets me do it. So it's like basically me and Eric that can put him outside from the garage. Andrew can put his leash on him and take him out the front. But yeah, that's about it. He's also, you can't pet him and pet the other dog without him growling at you.
I mean, that's not
Yeah.
super uncommon.
Because
Yeah.
it's like, but it's just one of those things. It's like it's his time, and then if you hug anybody, like if you're hugging, like me and Andrew hugged, he growls and barks because he thinks that you're hurting the other person. If I hug my kids, he runs up and starts growling because he thinks I'm hurting my kids, and
Right.
Oh god.
so like he does this every time somebody like hugs or touches somebody or anything. It's amazing. It's the best.
Dog sounds very special.
Yeah,
Just a little.
yeah. It's been an adjustment for our house. Like, if food falls on the floor and he's anywhere around, someone's getting bit because he's getting it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had to teach the kids, do not go near the dog if there's food anywhere near him.
Sophie doesn't really take food off the floor that you drop anymore. Like, I usually have to call her and, like, make her eat it. Like,
Yeah.
Like, normally, you know, you drop a chip or something and you don't even get a chance to pick it up. A dog, like, vacuums it up.
Right.
I have to, like, call her over and be like, fucking right here. Like, I'm pointing to it. Are you stupid?
Right.
But then if Titus has food, she'll run over and, like, take it out of his hand.
Well, that's because it's like taking candy from a baby.
Quite literally, actually, in this case.
Right.
The dog's like, I can do this.
Yeah.
He's
So
not gonna fight back.
No, this food is good. He's actually holding it. I don't want that shit off the floor.
It's like, this one ain't gonna fight back either. I can just take it, and he's not gonna do anything.
Right.
Oh, he does a
Yeah,
little.
he's getting a little bit more rough with the dog now. He found out that he could smack her and she would just kind of not care.
Yeah, we gotta be careful with that because.
Of course, we don't, you know, encourage that. We yell at him when he does it, but
Right.
it's still, you know, when she does something that makes him mad.
Right, of
Which
course.
is typically, she'll like walk right in front of him and just stand there. He's like, fucking move.
Or
Yeah.
she'll lay in his spot, and he
Yeah.
really hates
When
that.
he gets up, she'll jump up on the couch where he was sitting and lay down, and he just turns around and yells at her.
Oh, no, honey, tell the story about the mouse.
Oh
the
yeah.
animals work together.
Yes. Well, there was a mouse in our house apparently at some point, and
Jeez.
the cats.
It's a fairy tale now.
It rhymed, honey. The mouse in the house.
Yeah, I get it. I was trying to go past that, but nope. Anyway, but the mouse was dead in the bathroom, and so I come from out here and I go in there real quick and I'm looking, and there's this dead mouse in the bathroom, and it's laying in a puddle of piss. So this dog like pissed on the corpse of the mouse.
Wow.
The dog
Like,
is like, oh, look, this is mine now.
Right.
Gross.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like holy crap. All right, well, yeah.
So not only did you have to pick up a mouse, you had to clean up the pee around.
It's like I have to clean up and make sure that I can get this mouse without getting piss all over myself in the process. Like I'm glad that you guys like were so vengeful against this fucking mouse that was probably not trying to do anything other than get something to eat, maybe a drink of water, whatever, you know. No, fuck this thing. Essentially, that was yeah. Basically, like just piss on it. Fuck it. Whatever.
Funny.
Dog was like, y'all did all the work, but I claimed it.
Right.
Oh, man.
So Zero, what about you, sir? Anything else from your week or any entertainments?
I think the only thing new that I've watched has been like Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yes. I've watched part of that. I haven't gotten through all of it yet. But...
Well, I've watched a really random part of it. So I watched from like the 2nd to like the 8th episode of the 2nd season. So I have no idea what's going on, but it's hilarious and ridiculous, and I love it. So
yes,
I need
it
to
is.
watch
It is.
that.
yeah,
It is
it's
really,
great.
really good.
Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Is that on Netflix?
Uh-huh.
Didn't we watch part of that?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, we were wrapping presents.
Yep.
Nothing says Christmas like a chainsaw arm.
I'm all about it.
I was gonna say,
I mean,
like,
it
not-
was pretty entertaining. It was great.
Gosh.
I'm not finding a problem here. Like, where's the problem?
No problem.
Well, it's just like freaking Die Hard. Everyone's like, that's a Christmas movie,
It is
Yeah.
a Christmas movie.
But
which I
she has-
haven't seen.
You still
Yeah.
haven't seen that?
I have not seen it. No.
You should.
Nobody knew that I didn't
should
see it until
definitely
this
watch
year
that
when I
movie.
said I didn't see it, and everybody's like, I cannot believe you haven't seen it. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, I know your taste well enough to know that you appreciate good, bad, dumb comedy or action comedies.
Right.
from
I
the
do,
90s,
but
the
it's
80s
just
and
never
90s.
been like on my list to like really watch.
Well, it should be.
Like I know, like, but I didn't grow up watching these things, and
Right.
then Andrew has done his best at trying to get me to see every single movie that he's seen, but we've only been together for like 7 years, so
Right. I know that I'm bound to miss some once in a while, but still, it's like, God damn. Can't believe I missed that one. Like, I figured everybody, because that's usually the one movie that's always on TV
Yeah, I
at
was
some
gonna say
time
that's
of the
on
day or
TV
something.
enough. I feel like you should have seen that in Forrest Gump just by walking through a house enough at some
Wait,
point.
Right.
Forrest Gump has not?
No, I'm just
I
saying
love
like those are
Forrest
the
Gump.
movies
I've
that
seen
are on
Forrest Gump.
TV all the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I love Forrest Gump. It's one of my favorite movies.
I also like Forrest Gump.
That's a great movie.
It's one of the few movies, if it's on TV, I'll just sit and watch it. Like most other things,
Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
My favorite person in that movie is Bubba Gump. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I
it's Bubba.
I
I love
actually
him.
also really like the restaurant Bubba Gump on Navy Pier in Chicago. It's actually really good.
Haven't been there. Although I
It's
don't
Does it
kind of
have-
eat it
expensive and
anyhow.
touristy, but it's good.
Does it have shrimp?
Yeah, no, it's actually like themed around the movie.
That's awesome.
It's Bubba Gump Shrimp Company.
I love it.
Yeah, it's actually
I
good.
wanna go. I want to go now.
Yeah. Every time I went there to eat, we would get a bucket of boat trash, which is just like a bucket full of like oysters and crab legs and all kinds of seafood and shrimp.
Sounds
obviously.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. But it's pricey. It was like, $30 a person with drinks and stuff.
Holy crap. Well, I guess
Yeah.
with drinks, though.
Well, and
that's
it's like
not
seafood.
terrible.
Like you're getting crab legs and lobster and shit. So
Yeah, and you always pay more for seafood.
Yeah, and you're on Navy Pier in Chicago, so you're gonna pay extra for anywhere you go.
Yeah.
Like the last time I was there was for a business thing, and they paid for lunch, so I had the lobster mac and cheese at Margaritaville, and I think it was like $27, and it was like one of the cheaper things on the menu.
Nice.
We went
That
to
sounds amazing.
For our honeymoon, when we went to that, what is that place where we did the fondue pot and stuff like that?
Oh, the melting pot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the melting
that was
pot.
cool.
Yeah.
She got close to it. She said the fondue pot.
I couldn't
I mean, pretty
remember.
much.
It was.
Yes.
I
It's the
mean,
same
that's
thing.
Well, we
what it
had
is.
both. I think we had the. We had the one for the meal, and then we had the
We had
actual
3.
dessert one, didn't we?
There was 3. There was hot oil, there was cheese, and then there was chocolate.
Okay, yeah, that's alright.
What did you dip in the hot oil?
I think it was
Vegetables,
like vegetables and meat.
tofu, and meat. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I think if I remember right, we didn't really want to do the oil one again. We would just do the cheese.
I was gonna
The
say that
dessert.
would be like
Yeah, the dessert
good.
was kind of that was good too. But like, of course it is because it's fruit with melted chocolate.
Right.
of course, yeah.
Or brownie.
Yeah, there was like just chunks of brownie. Like here's a chunk of chocolate to dip in your hot chocolate.
I mean, I don't see any problem with that.
Mhm.
But no, the oil would be really different. I think that's kind of one of those things that only like certain palates like that kind of thing. Because I don't think it sounds good to me.
Well, I mean, you're just like
It's like a
frying
hot
food.
pot almost
Yeah,
at that point.
Yeah, that's like a traditional Asian thing is a hot pot where you throw a bunch of different shit in a pot of boiling oil and just cook it and then take out whatever you want to eat. And then as you add more stuff, it changes flavor.
It just deep fries it basically.
Yeah.
Or
Sounds
sometimes
almost-
because
I mean,
it's raw.
It's not battered, so it doesn't like come out like chicken fried. It's just like
Right.
cooked.
It sounds like Asian. What do you call it? Asian gumbo.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just a big pot full of stuff mixed together.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's really good. Like if you're
fun.
ever at home and you want to try something like that, just look up like how to do a hot pot at home. You basically just take a pot of boiling oil and a bunch of vegetables and sliced up meat, and then people just put in whatever they want to eat. And you add like, hot sauces or whatever you want to the oil, and it becomes kind of like a stew.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good and it's cheap. It's like one of the things that people recommend if you have like, oh, I've got 20 people coming over and I don't have much money. What do I do? Well, you just put out a bunch of ingredients and people kind of add what they want.
Yeah, it's almost like going to was it Flat Top,
Yeah, kind of the same idea.
Yeah.
where you just kind of like let everybody sort of buffet style make their own
Still
dishes or
haven't
whatever.
done that. I still
It's
haven't
really
been to a
good.
flat top place.
It's really good.
A Mongolian
Oh,
barbecue.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's I haven't eaten meat very long, so
Yeah, kind of pointless
Well-
to go to those unless they have like a really good tofu or something like that, because otherwise you're getting stir-fried vegetables.
Well, it's not necessarily bad either, but yeah.
No, but it's not worth spending, you
The
know,
money.
$20 or whatever if you go to a nice one.
I don't know. Every time we went to Flat Top, I thought it was amazing. So
Yeah, I thought it was great too. That's where I figured out how I didn't like Leinenkugel's summer shandy, because I went there and it's like, oh, it's really citrusy.
Yeah, it's basically lemonade with some beer in it, like a splash.
Eh.
yeah, it's
Everyone's
not,
like,
I don't
"Ugh."
like lemonade.
I like
I'm not
it.
a huge fan.
I do too. I like
I like-
Arizona tea with lemonade.
I like lemonade, but it has to be like, I don't know, like either the from concentrate style, like without all the pulp and shit. But yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, if you get good lemonade, man, go for it. Like most people here get like the Minute Maid stuff, which is really, you know,
I mean,
basically
that's
just
like
sugar.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah, sugar water with a little bit of flavoring to it to make it taste
Yeah,
like
someone
lemonade.
like dropped a lemon in it once.
You're like, oh, this is kind of lemony. We'll go there.
Yeah, kind of like a lemon shake up. Yeah, you got it. You got the idea.
It's kind of the same thing. Just a shit ton of sugar.
8 pounds of sugar.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
8 pounds
Yeah.
of sugar condensed into a single 12-ounce cup.
Yeah.
It's magic, really. It's alchemy. They turn it into gold.
Yeah.
Sounds really gross.
I
And we
mean,
got bubble tea
they
this
also
last
sell
year,
those
though.
at the same place where you get fried Twinkies and Snickers bars. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, we did get
Which-
bubble tea.
Yeah, bubble tea's good. Have you guys tried that yet?
Yeah, I like bubble tea.
Zero, you
I-
probably would like it. I mean, you can pick whatever flavor you want.
I've heard about it. I just haven't tried it yet.
I want my tea to taste like tea. I don't need extra shit floating around in it.
Well, you can
That's
get
kind of my
just
thing
plain,
with it.
You can get just plain tea,
Yeah.
and you can get the traditional Thai bubbles, and they're not filled with liquid. They're just like a gelatin.
Titus like those.
Yeah, they're kind of chewy. It's weird. It's like a strange texture, but the tea just tastes like tea. Yeah, it doesn't have.
It's
to be
not bad.
weird.
I like the ones that are filled with flavor though, because it gives you an extra burst of flavor. But it's one of those things though. You don't want to suck too hard, otherwise the bubbles get into your throat and then you choke.
Tell us more, Angela.
Sorry. My mind went.
I'm trying to get through that sentence
Fantastic.
really fast.
Shuck it long and shuck it
My mind
hard.
went the wrong way.
Oh man.
How
I'm
far into that
crying.
sentence did you get before you realized you took a wrong turn?
I tried so hard.
Poor girl.
Everybody's like, I'm sure she did suck it hard.
Get the bubbles in her throat. Damn, why are there bubbles?
That sounds dangerous. I think there's been porn stars that have died from that.
Oh gosh.
Let's not do that.
No.
Not advisable.
I don't want to know if you die from getting bubbles from a dick. That just
Good
That's
old
not a
bubbles.
good thing. If it's coming out in flavored bubbles, then,
That's what I want on my tombstone. Good old dick bubbles.
Nice.
Oh, I've never heard. I hope I never do.
this is why she never comes on the podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna
I'm
make.
sure her face is really red right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
She's crying.
can
I'm
see-
crying.
Everyone can see your face is red and embarrassed. But yeah,
Ugh.
I can't think of anything else we've really tried like food wise that would be like.
For our regularly scheduled food segment.
I mean, we always get there, so what the fuck? Why not? Let's go for it.
We actually did a short cooking stream earlier tonight.
Half of it.
Yeah, half of it. We were gonna cook up the rest of some pot stickers we had, but we didn't know how to like freeze them properly, so they all
Right.
kind of stuck together. So that didn't work out.
Oh, that sucks.
But we did make buffalo cauliflower.
I made.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, that was good.
I made cinnamon rolls this morning.
Yeah.
Those actually turned
Tasted
out really
exactly
good.
like Cinnabon.
Oh, I miss those. And cinnamon rolls.
And cinnamon rolls.
What are you drinking over there, Angela?
I'm drinking Aquafina. I don't know what they put in.
Drunk on that water.
Keeping it high and
Flavored.
tight over there, I see.
It's mango pineapple flavored with other natural flavors. I want to know what the other natural flavors are. God damn it!
H2O. I don't know what 2 tastes like, but
Jesus.
Oh.
Now, like we made steak tonight. That was our dinner.
Yes.
No, I made what did I make?
steak.
It was so good I forgot.
No, I made chili this week. With bacon in it.
Nice.
I haven't tried that yet.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if I've ever had chili with bacon in it.
It's
Sounds
actually
good.
really good. It's
I mean,
it
most
just
things are better with bacon.
yeah. Well, it adds a little extra flavor to it. Like I put onions in it and bacon and hamburger and then tomatoes and tomato sauce and
Nice.
seasonings.
I'm a big fan of not putting meat in chili. Actually, that's one of the few foods I think is improved by the lack of meat.
I'm one of those people. I love a chunky chili. I don't like a soupy chili. I like it when it's like there's very little
Well, I mean,
liquid and a lot of like just.
I like it that way too, but I put a ton of beans in it, like 5 different kinds.
Oh yeah, and I put beans in it too.
So it's always really, really thick, but it's not because it's got a bunch of ground beef in it.
Yeah, I like to put like a bunch of vegetables in it too, like onions and green peppers and things like that too, and along with the beans. As long as it's a chunky chili, I could go without the meat.
Also going on my tombstone.
Yes.
Chunky chili.
But I also like to load up my chili afterwards with oyster crackers and cheese and all that stuff too. So.
Yeah, I always like to put way too much cheese in chili after it's done. So it just kind of becomes like this like chili cheese conglomeration and then like
Right.
half a sleeve of crackers in one bowl.
Exactly.
So
It's
it
like
becomes like a cracker stew.
basically, yeah. That's how I always ate it as a kid, and that's basically I was sitting at work. I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I was like, I want some fucking chili. And then so I went out and I bought oyster crackers and cheese and all the makings for it because
Yeah.
we had the hamburger already.
Cottage cheese
So.
is what I put in mine. I
You
used
put
to.
cottage cheese in it?
My family used
What the
cottage
hell
cheese
is
in a
wrong
lot
with
of
you?
beans and cottage
Ugh,
cheese.
that's not food.
I know it's weird, but it was something I grew up with.
Do you
Well,
put
that's
cottage
like
cheese
saying,
in
oh, my
chili?
parents beat
Yeah.
me, but you know, I grew up with it.
Like,
Right.
It was something hot, and then the cottage cheese kind of cooled it down to where you could eat it, and it'd be just right.
But then I wouldn't
I
want to
hate
eat
cottage
it at
cheese.
all.
I
like
am
was
not.
cottage
good to
cheese,
me.
but I don't
I
want
hate
it
it.
in soup.
I especially had to do it like when we had Friday night beans.
Oh Jesus.
See, I would be fine eating those things separately, but those are like both side dishes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Like
helped.
I always hear of the foods that you grew up eating, and I just like I feel so bad for you sometimes. Like I'm like,
You don't
Wait,
know
what?
if you're used to eating them, you don't realize what
I
you-
know.
That's
know.
what I always say.
See, it's
I
proof that
know,
those kids in
but-
Somalia, you know, they don't mind that they're starving. They don't know what they're missing. They've always been
they're
hungry.
just like,
Well,
yeah,
I'm just saying.
we're used to this hunger pain in our stomach. It's fine.
That's fucked up.
I'm not saying I necessarily liked it. I liked other things better than others, but I'm just saying.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I know.
You never had other stuff, so you didn't know, like, oh, that's better.
Yeah.
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 No, I'm just giving you shit. I'm not making fun of you.
Yeah, I never order soup out though because everybody wants to give you like 2 of those little packages of crackers where you get like
Oh, yeah.
4 crackers, and I'm like, no, bitch, I need like 30 of these.
Exactly. I'm the same way. I'm
Keep
like,
'em coming.
really? 2? You know, this is going to be gone in like 2 bites. I need like 5 more packets. And then you get the look from the waitress like, are you really gonna put like
Right.
20 packages of crackers in your soup? And I'm like, yes,
I
I
want
am.
to taste my soup, not crackers. Not that I don't like crackers, but
Well, and I want to add them like slowly throughout eating it, so
Yeah,
that
because
they
they're
stay
gone.
crunchy. I don't want it to turn into a mush until the very
Right.
end.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
gone like halfway through, and then you need to add more anyway. So, you know.
No, you don't need to add anything. Just eat the goddamn chili. How hard is that to do? Like, how hard is it to do? Seriously.
yeah.
No,
I
Andrew,
was like
though.
one step away from telling us to get off your lawn. Just eat the
Yep,
fucking
that's
chili.
me.
Andrew saw me though, like making my chili. I actually put the oyster crackers and cheese in the bottom, and then I put chili on top, and then I put oyster crackers and cheese on top.
You made like
No.
a chili lasagna.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, I layered my shit. And then the next night I made lasagna.
There you go.
That's
Yeah.
what we
Good
had
measure.
for dinner on, what was it, Christmas Eve? Christmas?
Christmas Eve, yeah, because we were supposed to have people over, but because we had a
Yeah, the weather
blizzard,
was shitty. Yeah, we,
they didn't come
I guess
over,
we didn't mention
and
that.
we got to have it
like,
all.
Yeah, we got like 1.5 feet of snow over the last day and a half.
Yeah, it hasn't been snowing much here for the past few days, but we got a pretty good amount of snow at the beginning of the week though.
Yeah, we got lake effect.
Yeah.
Lots
That's
of
even
lake
worse.
effect.
Yeah.
Fucking lakes, man.
My whole thing is you can have your white Christmas, but I need like 50-degree weather after Christmas.
Right.
I mean,
like,
it's gonna
okay,
be 50 like on Thursday, I think.
Yeah, but then the roads
It's
are
like-
gonna suck because it's gonna freeze.
Yeah, it's supposed to rain for 2 days, and then it's gonna go back to like below freezing. So it's
Yeah,
like, oh,
well-
cool. So it's just gonna be mountains of ice.
It's
Like-
been
Ice
so
rink for our
cold.
cars.
My fucking windshield wiper fluid has been frozen in my thing to where I can't use my windshield wiper fluid.
Yeah, I think I thought I was out, but I didn't really check. Maybe it's just frozen. I didn't.
Yeah,
think
I
about
was.
We
I was.
seem to be
My
having
thing
trouble
was
with-
out, but I think
But
some
we
was
were
still in
having
the
trouble with
lines,
it before.
that. Yeah,
and it froze because when I filled it up, I still can't use it.
I
yeah,
thought
because that
stuff
shit's
was-
supposed to like not freeze.
Right, that's what I thought.
Well, this was like the summer stuff, which is mostly like water.
Yeah.
But then I put the winter kind in, which has like the no freeze in it. But it's not helping the lines if it's frozen in the lines. So
I just figured it would have warmed up when you like ran your car.
I thought so too, but I still haven't been able to use it. So I don't know if there's something wrong with my lines or what. But I have not been able to use my windshield wiper fluid.
Well, that sucks. And I know
At
because
all.
I haven't either. I've been like, well,
Yeah.
we're just gonna half see.
Yeah. So basically, I'm going to have to see when it gets warm out if I still can't use my windshield wiper fluid and if I need to take it in to be fixed.
Yeah.
That could be a while.
Yeah.
So, did you get your car back yet, by the way, Zero, or do you still have to wait?
No, I got it back. It cost me a shit ton, but it's working and there's heat, so that's great.
Oh, yay. Heat.
I'm pretty happy about that.
I would be too.
Oh,
Not freezing your
It's-
butt off, right?
well, yeah, and it's been really weird here because usually in the winter, like we might have a like half of a day every now and then might get down to like 15 degrees, but it's usually like 27 this time of year or something like that, and it's been like 10.
Ooh.
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
been
been-
around 0 here.
Yeah, it's been really weird, and it might get even colder soon. And now we're getting, I guess they're calling it a bombogenesis or something like that.
Yeah, I saw something on
And it's hitting Maryland really weird because of the way the state's broken up. So, like, here we're just going to get more dustings, which is what we've been having, and then more cold wind, which is fantastic. But
Or not.
like an hour or two away to the east of us on the eastern shore, they're getting like a full-blown blizzard.
Yeah.
And apparently, this randomly popped up, and people have been talking about it a lot around here. It's like a solid 30 degrees warmer in Alaska right now than it is in Baltimore.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been seeing people post the same things here. Where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's warmer in Antarctica than it is here.
Well,
Which is
isn't
pretty
Florida
fucked up.
getting cold too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
They
like
got
40
snow.
there. Yeah, it did snow in like 2 parts of Florida yesterday or the day before.
I know Tallahassee got to get them out.
Yeah. And Texas too. Like Texas got a lot of
That's
snow.
kind of funny.
Which, feel bad for Texas, man, because they had that shitty, like, fucking tropical shit, and now they're getting snow.
Right.
Did
Yeah.
you see that flood that froze in the street?
That was in
Mhm.
Massachusetts,
Oh.
I think.
Yeah, like a bunch of cars were
That
like
was
up
bad.
past the windows, and then it froze.
Wow.
So like the whole street is like floodwaters up to the, like up to your waist, and the water just froze.
That's shitty.
Wow. That's, yeah.
Yeah, those cars are they're not going anywhere.
Well, I don't think they would have been going anywhere anyway because, they got flooded out, but
Yeah.
Right.
True.
you can't get them out of there.
Yeah, I mean, if the water is up to the windows, they're totaled anyway. But yeah,
Yeah.
The ice doesn't help with the cleanup.
Yeah.
So yeah, I watched The Magicians on Netflix. It's pretty good.
What's
It's a
that
little-
about?
So it's basically this guy thinks he's insane, and he's like been checked into an insane asylum a couple of times, and he's obsessed with these like kids books about magic, kind of like the like Chronicles of Narnia. They're kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
And like he's always been obsessed with doing magic tricks and whatever, and then finds out he actually can do magic and goes to a college for magicians, and it turns into a little bit of a drama. Like it's not super great that way, but the magic stuff's pretty cool. It's okay though. I would check it out if you're not watching anything else.
Right.
But yeah,
What's
it
called
gets
again?
a little bit
Magicians.
Dawson's Creek.
I started watching part of that a while back, but I never really went back to it after that. Not that it wasn't interesting, but it's just one of those things. It's kind of like sometimes I'll pick up a book and then I'll put it down, and it's been so long, it's like,
Yeah.
I'll go back to it later.
The Magicians or Dawson's Creek?
Both. Actually, the problem with Dawson's Creek was it was on before Buffy, so I had to wait. So
I
it's like
Dawson's Creek.
I'll put
but
that
yeah, I
on,
watched
mute
it
the
later.
sound, and play video games, and Buffy's on. Okay,
It's
because I had my
actually-
TV computer at the
It
same
is a
spot.
little bit reminiscent of Buffy.
Uh-huh.
It does remind me of that a little, which
I
is
like
a
that.
show I did exactly that with. I think I watched like a whole season of it, or like almost 2 seasons of it, and just kind of stopped for no real reason.
Missing out, man. Missing
I
out.
like Dark Angel when it was on.
Oh yeah, the
Jessica Alba
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
I like that just because she was in it. It was a really bad show, but like
It had
she was
it had
hot.
Tony from NCIS on it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I always forget about that.
And one half of the Winchester brothers when he was much younger.
Nice,
Ah,
Dean Winchester was on there.
fantastic.
yeah.
Which I didn't even realize that till years later when I started getting into Supernatural. I was like, oh, he was on that show? I should have probably watched that show. Yeah. It just didn't do anything for me. I was like, okay, whatever.
You're not a fan of Jessica Alba.
That's true. I mean, she's hot, but
I mean, yeah. I wasn't looking for much
I
else when
wasn't
that show was
necessarily
on.
a fan, but I liked the show itself.
I wasn't like
thought it was
looking up
alright.
IQ scores or anything at that point. What else did I watch?
I've seen literally none of the things anybody just mentioned.
I watched Black off of Netflix, but that's...
You watched what?
It's called Black. It's a Korean drama.
I thought you
Oh,
said
Jesus.
black,
Of course
and
it
I'm
is.
like, what are you watching?
But Netflix did it. Netflix. It was from Netflix. It was good. I liked it.
Is it a Korean drama?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Netflix. It was one of Netflix's Korean dramas.
great. So now there's 2 streaming services you'll never be able to get her off of.
Yeah, the Korean drama one and Netflix.
Yeah.
The other Korean drama one.
Drama Fever.
Yeah,
Ah.
fever is a real good
Drama Fever.
word to describe that. It's contagious.
Well, they don't just have Korean ones though. They have Chinese and they have
Oh, great.
Taiwanese.
That's the one that I really like, is the Taiwanese. I can really tell the difference.
You can once you start watching.
Well, Dan, get to watching.
I can't even watch
Yeah.
the stuff in English that I try to keep up with.
I don't like subtitles. I will not watch something with
I don't mind
subtitles if I don't want to.
It takes me longer to get through stuff with subtitles because I can't do anything else.
Well, if the story's interesting enough, you really don't need much subtitles. I mean, and after a while, they just
I
kind of...
definitely need subtitles.
Well, I mean, yes, but at the same time, it makes it easier to kind of see what's going
To
on.
actually understand what they're saying to each other in this show that's based around people talking to each other.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. But you want, I mean,
Well, tell
like,
them
if you
what-
think of all the
Tell them
anime...
what you've been watching. I'm gonna let the dog out.
She's like, that's it. That's all I watch.
Tell them what
Yeah, Korean dramas and Chinese dramas, which, yeah, have subtitles. But they're good.
This is like
I don't
that
know.
person who has to do a book report and didn't read the books. Like, yeah, it's about 2 cities, and it's long.
Oh, I hated
And-
the
and
Two
good.
Cities book in high
I
school.
never read that shit.
We had to read that, and it was awful. That was the worst book and the longest one that I had trouble. I don't even actually think I finished it.
The
I-
funny thing was, is
Cliff
I don't remember
Notes.
having to read any books in high school that everybody else has read. Like A Tale of Two Cities, or I don't know any other titles because I never had to read them. Like I had to read Romeo and Juliet, and that's about it.
Yeah,
No,
we had that
no.
one too.
Well, I remember talking to a guy, and I was like, yeah, we read Beowulf in high school, and they're like, what?
I
It's
never
like-
had to read that either.
God
You know
damn.
What? I didn't either. But I
Fucking-
know.
Fucking
and-
education system, man.
And the the one where they're on the island, the kids are on the island.
Oh, Lord of the Flies?
Yeah, I never had to read that.
Did you read
Like-
the, what is it, the farm one? what is
Mice and Men?
No.
I never had to read that either, though. That was a
The
thing.
Animal Farm.
Oh.
I didn't read that one.
Well, that one's
Yeah.
that one I figured you would have like read though, Zach, because it's basically political satire.
Yeah. That one was
Yeah.
a real political
Well, I
one.
mean, especially as far as stuff that like we read in school and whatnot, like all the classes, like we'd all be divided up into like A, B, C, and D group, and all
Mhm.
the groups read completely different shit. So like a lot of people I know read Beowulf. I never got that in any of my classes.
Right.
I did get Tom Sawyer.
Mm.
I think like A Wrinkle in Time and The Diary of Anne Frank. Like I know we definitely went through all those.
We went through the Diary of Anne Frank. I never.
We did that in second grade, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
The Outsiders. I fucking love that one.
Yes.
Oh, I got some of those in college, like in a college class that I took for English.
Yeah.
yeah. See, I never had to go through all of the stuff that people had to read. I'm like, they're like, oh, I had to read this, this, and this for high school. I'm like, my high school kind of just didn't care about reading. I guess I don't know. So-
Yeah, like I said, I blame the public education system. Fucking
Yeah, but me and you went to like the same public education system, only just different schools.
Evidently Southside gave more of a shit about classic literature. Because I remember reading, actually, the only thing that pissed me off was it was sophomore year. No, it was junior year. And we had the option, because the teacher decided to put it to a vote. Either we would read Macbeth, or we would read this dumbass book about the Civil War.
the one with the kid, the boy.
No, it's like the Rebel Angels or some fucking stupid ass
Oh.
shit. I was pissed off because I was like, I'd rather read Shakespeare any goddamn day than anything about the Civil War, because the Civil War is fucking bullshit.
We had certain ones that we all read. Then they gave us a list of other ones that we could choose from, and then we had to write reports on them, and then
Yeah, so, like-
stand up in front of the class.
Well, later on, on my senior year, I was working in the media center, and I had to deliver a TV to that same teacher's classroom. And I brought it up there, and then they're all getting ready to study Macbeth. And I'm like, why the fuck didn't we do that? It's like, don't you remember I put everybody to a vote? It's like, oh, yeah, that's why. Fucking Philistines.
Oh, yeah.
Goddamn plebs in my school.
some good times and some, yeah.
Yeah, like I got a lot of the Shakespeare stuff, but I never had to read like the other shit. So like I read Macbeth and I read Romeo and Juliet and Much Ado About Nothing and all
I
that
like
shit.
That one.
I couldn't get through that one. I ended up reading the Cliff's Notes.
Much Ado About
Yeah.
Nothing?
Yeah.
I like the movie.
I love the movie too because once we got done reading the story, we actually watched the movie too, which was amazing.
Well,
It
being a
makes me
drama
laugh.
being a drama kid, we actually did a scene from that, and I was Lysander, so that was kind of fun.
Nice.
Although we had to do Romeo and Juliet at one point, but the girl didn't want to kiss me. I'm like, you're lost, bitch.
And Andrew found out this week that he's a really good kisser, so it was her loss.
Oh.
Andrew made out with a girl at the club before I went crazy, and
Oh.
and she messaged me to tell me how great of a kisser he was, and I was like, well, you're welcome.
Isn't that kind of like, duh, I already know, motherfucker? Like,
Yeah, I mean, like, what did she expect? Like, you to text back and be like, I tolerate it.
Well, there was another girl that actually found out from her husband, I think it was, that he hated the way that she kissed, and he was only around because she was financially supporting him. So, I mean, it
Yikes.
happens.
Ooh.
Yeah. It was terrible.
That would be it.
Hashtag
Yeah.
first world problems.
So, yeah.
I think the hashtag is lifestyle problems, but yeah, that too.
Yeah. But yeah, so she posted that. We have like a woman's lifestyle group, and she posted that today, and I was just like, well, that's kind of shitty. But then Andrew was like, I'd be willing to like do a study and,
Yes.
and help
A
you figure
study.
out if that's actually true or not.
We must scientifically validate the veracity of this guy's claims. Lots and lots of research will be,
I'm
will be
pretty sure
necessary.
you should just show up at spring break with MTV next year. And, I mean, it writes itself.
Do they even have spring break anymore on that fucking channel anymore?
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, but I don't think they can like relocate, so it's probably just in like LA.
They don't do the
I don't actually know if they do anything for MTV. Is MTV
they-
still on?
I was gonna ask that. Is it still a thing?
I
Well,
think it
MTV
is, but
is mostly
don't think it's the
shows
same
now and no
anymore.
music
Yeah.
anymore.
The only
So,
thing that I
I'm
know
sure they
recent
do.
about MTV is that what was it, 16 and Pregnant or something like that?
Catfish
'Cause
is the one I
my
think of.
buddy that I went
Catfish
to high
is one of
school
my
with
favorite
was
shows.
on that show. Gary.
Oh, Gary. Yeah. Catfish and that, yeah, like you said, that teen one
Yeah,
Pregnant.
yeah,
at 16 or something.
Yeah, because he was
16
the
and
one
Pregnant,
the
yeah.
girlfriend beat him up on camera.
that was
and then
hilarious.
tried to say that he beat her up, and they were like, "You had a camera crew in the house with you. Like we have video proof that he didn't hit you."
yeah.
He got hit by you, but he did
Yeah.
not do
I
any of
think
the
she
hitting.
ended up going to jail over that or something like that. She got in
Yeah,
legal
probably.
trouble. I know.
Well, he
Well,
got
of
the
course
kid.
she did.
Yeah, he got the kids, but yeah, I think she went to jail for like a couple of months or something.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know. I
As
watched
as well she
Catfish
should.
a
Yeah,
little bit more than
100%. She was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gary's a super nice guy. But like the crazy thing is that show has like propelled him like to a lifetime of financial security.
Didn't he make his own, like, what was it, yeah, I don't know, but, no, I can't even think of
Didn't he do that thing that one time with
Yeah.
that one guy and that
He
one?
definitely did.
He had his own condom, like, line, didn't
Probably. Yeah, he probably did something like that. I mean, that's
I need-
smart advertising.
I was gonna say that'd be pretty good.
Don't be
Yeah.
like, don't get beat up and then have her lie, even though there's a
I mean,
camera
do you
crew.
market that to like high school kids though?
I mean,
Like,
if
at
you're
that
going
point.
to teach, if you're going to teach fucking sex ed, like there's option A, which is abstinence. Anyway, And then there's option B, which is get some fucking condoms, some
Well,
diaphragms.
don't forget
you know.
option C, which the Catholic Church likes to take up.
Oh,
What?
The butt.
Oh.
Everybody's like waiting. I'm like, really?
No,
all
you know
a
what's
little
funny?
slow.
There was a girl that I went to high school with, and she literally, that's what she would do so she could say she was a virgin.
Right. Yeah, that's literally like the Catholic
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, well, she would do that, and then we would be at we always partied at my best friend's house, who her dad worked third shift at GM. So we partied at her house. So my best friend would always find her in her room on her bed taking it up the ass. She's like, God damn it, stop it.
Wow.
Well, I
She's
mean,
like, we all know you're doing it up the butt, and I don't want you to do it in my house.
I don't care that you're taking it in the ass. I just care that you're where you're taking it in the ass at.
Like, fucking gross, stop it. It was amazing.
Oh, good times. Somehow we got here from Gary. Not the city, fortunately. It would make more sense if it were the city we were talking about.
Right.
I have something completely random, but I had to go on Wikipedia and check to see if MTV was indeed still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which, kind of.
Kind of.
Kind of.
What did it
Kind-
say?
It's mostly reruns. Like, they
Yeah.
don't really don't do anything anymore.
Yeah, I think MTV2 was like the last bastion of like the MTV programming that like a lot of us grew up with.
Now they've moved to like airing stuff in like a million other countries and
I
shit.
know there's a VH1 network that just shows old hair metal videos. Like that's
Mhm.
a channel that just airs those nonstop because it was always on at this bar in Lafayette.
Nice.
But I didn't know MTV News was like an actual real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was like a big deal. Like a bunch of the like Kurt Cobain dying and stuff like that hit that
Yep.
network first because
Actually-
of the music.
I
thing.
mean, I assumed they were going to give music news on MTV.
Right.
But I remember when I was a kid watching it, they'd have like flash news reports, and I never took it seriously. Like, well, I'm going to fucking listen to the news from the channel I watch music videos on? Like, fucking no.
yeah,
but,
from
you know-
I always remember the guy with the dreads. What was his name?
Right.
Sway.
I don't.
So
Yes.
Sway, there was Kurt Loder. I think every once in a while they'd have one of like the female. There was a woman there, was like a
Yeah.
redhead. I forget her name. But yeah, those were like the three that I grew up with. But mostly Kurt Loder for the most part.
Well, and then what's his face went on to do all the New Year's Eve thing on CBS or whatever network.
Talking about Seacrest.
Carson Daly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Daily, yeah. Well, he had TRL, which was pretty awesome. When they talked about bringing that back, I was like, it's not going to be the same.
was
Why
on
are we doing
MTV?
this?
Carson Daly.
Carson Daly? Yeah.
Yeah.
he was on there forever.
That's where he
That's-
started.
Yeah, that
I
was-
guess I didn't.
I remember watching.
Not
the
that I
first
watched
episode of
MTV
that
very
show,
often.
By the way.
Yeah,
but,
that was his thing. It was where he started off at.
I always just assumed that they would just like, pick up some headlines from somewhere and read them. Like, I didn't realize that there was like a news organization.
Well, actually, I found a link to it a long time ago. Like, there's an internet archive, and somebody's actually gone through and put up all of the episodes of Liquid Television with
Yeah.
commercials and everything. And like one of the episodes I was watching the other day, they did the MTV news brief with Kurt Loder talking about Tupac getting shot. And I was like, oh God.
I think I posted that on Facebook.
I feel old
actually.
now. Hold on. Let me get my wheelchair.
Yeah.
Get your wheelchair. When did that? That was early '90s, right?
That was like, well, it was like mid to late 90s. It was close to like 99.
Well, Tupac got shot multiple times.
The one that
Which
killed
time
him.
are we talking about?
This was the time.
The last
Okay.
time. How about
Yes.
that?
Because he did. He faked his death before he actually died. That's why everybody thinks he faked his death again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
That's
he
why-
faked that one. He should have come back by now.
Well, I know. I'm
He's
just saying,
overdue.
like, that's why that was a big rumor for like 10 years that Tupac faked his death again and he's off in the Bahamas somewhere just hanging out because he still had albums coming out and stuff like that. And, people were just like, oh, Tupac's not dead. He faked his death again. And then, whatever. But it's just like Elvis. Everybody's like, oh, Elvis isn't dead.
Right.
I mean, he'd be like 100 years old now if he wasn't dead. So,
Who, Elvis or?
Yeah.
yeah. That was the thing for years too. Everybody's seeing Elvis and all that shit. So
Yeah, no,
I
I think Tupac's up there in the old thug mansion.
drinking thug passion.
I thought that was going somewhere else, but yeah.
He's getting crunk.
What?
We're recording a podcast.
Oh,
What did she ask?
She asked if we were
Watching porn.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
just
Jesus.
casually,
Was that your grandmother?
Yeah.
Not my
Nice,
grandmother. I mean,
I love it.
Of
I
course.
think my
of
grandmother
course.
would have a heart attack.
Oh no.
I'd have a heart attack if she asked if we were watching porn.
No,
I think
so
I
speaking
had
of
died and gone to
grandmothers,
heaven.
we had dinner with my dad this week too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. You got to see your sisters.
Which
Are you talking about the woman I love?
Her dad?
what?
How's her dad the woman she loves?
Oh Jesus.
Anyway, go on.
No, we had dinner with my dad this week and my grandmother, and we brought Eric to the dinner. And the first
right.
thing my grandmother is like, I was like, hey grandma, and she's like, who is he? I was like, that's Eric. She's like, Eric who? And I was like, Eric Brinsfield. I was like, he's a really good friend of mine. And she goes, well, where's your husband? And I'm like,
I died.
and I looked around because I didn't realize he had left the room. I was like, well, he's probably in the bathroom. He's gonna be here, Grandma. Don't worry. And she's like, oh, okay. Well, how are you? And I'm like, what the fuck? Because, Eric's black. My grandmother's prejudiced. So, that's the first thing. Like, did you dump your husband off for a black man?
Oh.
It was amazing. But
Fantastic.
explaining
So she kind of had a
my-
freak out moment for a minute.
Just a minute, yeah. But then my younger sister goes, she goes, what did she call us? Mormon. She goes, what are you, Mormon? And I'm like, no.
No, that's polygamy, not polyamory. There's different syllables. It's the whole thing. Anyway.
Yeah, because I told her, she was like, but you have a husband. I was like, yeah, and I also have a boyfriend. And she goes, okay, what are you, Mormon? And I was like, no, I'm not Mormon, just polyamorous. She was like, I've never heard of that before. And I'm like, well, you're only 17, so
Yeah. Are
Yeah.
you the baby Jesus? Yes, I'm the baby Jesus.
Lord.
Exactly.
Our daughter has since gotten off of that show this week, though. She hasn't really watched it all week. But I think it's because Samantha got home and Samantha's like, I'm not watching this for the 20th time.
Yeah, she didn't get that into it, whereas
Oh,
Wednesday
possibly.
did. So
Yeah, Thomas watched that this week,
Mm-hmm.
the other day.
I thought it was a pretty hilarious movie, even though I haven't actually sat down and watched it all the way through. I've only seen bits and pieces.
It
It's
wasn't
part
terrible. I just didn't like it as well as most of their other stuff.
of the reason I had to give my daughter a crash course in Elvis, because she was trying to argue with me that Elvis only wore white, and I was like, "Hold up, bitch! All right."
Oh. He had a whole black outfit.
Yeah.
He had a black outfit. He had a leather
Gold.
outfit from the '68 comeback special. He had the white jumpsuit from the Aloha Hawaii special. I know my Elvis. Okay.
Actually, I went to a Elvis impersonator concert.
We had one at the nursing home. He was all in black and he had the gold
course he
chain.
did.
And of course, one of the nurses was like, you gotta peek in there. He really thinks he's Elvis. And I was laughing my ass off. And I peeked in and all the residents were just like, ha. Except for
That's
one lady
amazing.
was looking at one of the other guys and she just couldn't keep her eyes off the other. I was like, okay.
Gross.
I see where your bread's buttered. All right. Anyway.
Well, STDs run rampant in nursing homes. Just
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that I found out apparently there's nursing homes that will allow like their children to bring beers in so they can have like one for the road, and I'm like, that's cool. I hope my kids are that cool.
Yeah, they have like social events where they'll have like guy time, and they get beer for the residents that want it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know Angela will be having some wine if it's anything like some of those places your mom was in. What was that one? Sage Bluff?
Yep.
Yeah. That they had like wine nights where everybody could go like have wine. I'm like, that's fucking killer, man. Like, I kind of want to get old.
That's one I haven't. I don't know if they've done wine at the nursing home that I'm at, but I know beer for definitely sure.
Yeah.
They always ask me every night when I pass out drinks, I want some beer, and I'm like, I don't have that.
I don't have any.
Not in here.
What good are you then?
Yeah, pretty much.
Dying.
That or
That's
they
when you
ask
tell them
carry
you
it
drank
around
it
with
all
you.
and they lost.
that,
Sorry.
or like one always asks me if he can have like $1 million in a brown paper bag, and I'm like, nah.
Shit.
Yeah, let me know where that's at.
If I had $1 million in a brown paper bag, shit, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to your ass right now.
Right?
I got bills to pay.
Yep.
Hookers to get.
That kind of money, you don't even have to bury him yourself.
Should be able to just find somebody to do that for you.
Exactly.
Or
Well,
it could be like that truck we saw earlier that had like reliable corpse disposal written on the back of the cap for the bed. Like, I like this guy.
That reminds me.
it was written on the back and the sides.
Yes.
That reminds me. There's a new Chappelle special on Netflix that was really good.
Oh yeah, that was good.
I haven't watched
Yeah, I
it.
saw it was on there.
I haven't watched it yet, but I heard there was a lot of like controversy about it.
Well, he had a
Chappelle.
story that he told about when he made $25,000 from one show when he was working for basically a gang that was trying to launder money through him.
Yeah.
And he had to take the train home to Brooklyn with a backpack full of $25,000, and he was afraid people were gonna,
Holy
kill him
smokes.
for it. And he's like, I imagine that's a lot like what it is for women all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had never had anything that people wanted before.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think that's where a lot of that controversy came from. But yeah, the stand-up was really good. It was probably his best stuff since, like, his early stuff, I think.
Like killing them softly and all that.
It was definitely the best he's been since that.
Yeah.
And it was
real
very, very
good.
different than what that stuff was, too. It's more like him sitting on the stage, like, halfway smoking cigarettes and telling stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he starts to tell the story about, like, what he did when he went to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But then he just kind of, like, stops halfway through because he didn't want to talk about it. He's like, I'm just going to move on to this other story. So that was kind of, I don't know. I feel like
That's
he
a
shouldn't have
fucking
even brought it
tease
up.
because I want to know. Like,
Well, I mean, he kind of alluded to the fact that he was just, like, tired of all the bullshit and just walked away from it, and he could. Like,
well, we
everybody
already
told him
knew
he
that
couldn't.
much.
And he's like, yeah, I did, and it was really hard, and I lost a lot of money, and I had to watch all these other people do shows similar to mine after that. But, look, I'm back here doing this and making a bunch of money, so you can do whatever you want. But, there's consequences. So I was
Right.
like, yeah, okay, that's good enough, I guess. Basically, he said he was just tired of, dealing with Hollywood's bullshit and walked away from it and decided to come back and do things the way he wanted later.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
But he, like, got halfway into the full story and then just kind of moved on.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucked. But
Well, sometimes the whole story doesn't need to be told.
true. But I would have liked to have heard a little bit about where he went and what he did.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the curiosity getting to you.
Yes.
Well, especially with him, because it was like he was really on like his fucking A game. Like
Yeah.
he got really super famous, everybody loved him, and then he was just like, fucking, I'm gonna go disappear for a number of years.
Yep.
All right, like we didn't know if we were gonna see him again. Like, what was going on? and then he just starts doing some stand-ups out of nowhere several years later. It's like, you want to elaborate on that at all, or?
Well, and apparently he was just doing stand-up like on the street. Like he would just show up outside of a comedy club, or like just show up in like Central Park and just do a stand-up show with like 50 people standing there.
Which, that sounds like a great story. Like, I want to hear that. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
They talked about that on Joe Rogan actually, because I guess some of the other comedians like happened upon those.
huh.
Yeah. Yeah, those are probably on YouTube actually. If you want to, like, not the stand-up that he did, but like people talking about it.
Yeah, I'll have to look that
Like
up.
Rogan and some of the comedians on there. But yeah, I was trying to think if there was anything else I watched. I listened to the Giant Bomb Game of the Year stuff. It was basically like the year of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Yeah, which speaking of, I noticed that Paladins is deciding to try to get in on that action now.
Yeah, they're getting their Battle Royale mode.
Mm-hmm.
Which every single game out there ever is going to have one of those now.
Yeah.
And the only one we really all want is Battle Royale.
Well, like the one thing that I did see that was funny was somebody posted a video of Fortnite, and I guess they have like the dabbing dance emote, and somebody like launched a rocket from a rocket launcher at them, and they did the dabbing emote at just the right time, so that they missed. I was like, that's kind of cool. I wouldn't play it to try to have that happen, but it's cool that it happened, I guess.
No, there's. I mean, it's a interesting enough idea. I don't like playing it.
Right.
But I think a lot of people like it because you get that instant gratification. Like you know, spawn in and you play. You get the whole like start with nothing and go to, you know, having a bunch of stuff. You get the full experience, and then
Right.
the second you lose, you just jump right back in again. So it's like an accelerated, like League of Legends or something like that.
Right.
So I don't know. I tried it with U0 and I hated it. So
I figured
I'll
that's
Paladins
why.
one, but I'm not super interested in that type of game.
Right.
I'm sorry, which game are we talking about?
Paladins is getting one.
They're getting
Yeah.
their battle royale
We
mode.
tried.
So yeah.
Remember we
Which
tried
one's-
Fortnite?
Oh, that kind of mode. Yeah, that shit's real annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and Fortnite, and then now Paladins is adding one.
Why? Ew, how? Don't care. Never mind.
So what's
We
gonna-
just saw the full journey there.
This is the whole fucking...
All 3 stages.
I just realized I want nothing to do with any of that. Just, no. I've had a bunch of friends come back to me, too, and be like, oh, man, we need to really play some Fortnite. I'm like, that shit never needs to be on my computer again. Ever.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
Actually,
let
I just
us-
uninstalled it again. Like, I never reinstalled it, but somehow it made its way back on my computer.
It's like, hey, guess what? Here I am.
Back.
I'm the crazy girlfriend that you thought you got rid of.
I literally lit her on fire and pushed her out a window.
We are not doing this again.
It was like Meg showed up at my door.
With 5 hot dogs.
Big juicy hot dogs.
Oh, Jesus.
Ah.
What's that gonna
Oh,
do with
Lord.
like the games and the internet and all that with the rules changing and the companies?
A bunch of people will make that.
Let's move it, people.
Yo, what's up? Fabulous.
hello.
Thank you for the follow. But yeah, a bunch of people will make that style of game mode and they'll just stick it in their existing game or make that game. And then people will play the ones that are the best, like PlayerUnknown's because it was first, or at least the big success that came first. And then they'll play whatever else the best one is until the next thing comes around. So like for a while it was MOBAs. Like League of Legends and Dota, everybody had to put one of those in their game.
Right.
And then before that it was MMOs. World of Warcraft was successful, so everyone had to make an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, you know, whatever the next thing is, that's what everybody copies, and you see them all for like a year after that first one.
Yeah, the market gets saturated with it until eventually nobody gives a shit about them anymore.
Yeah.
And only the ones that are at least like decent end up kind of sticking around.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Fortnite's not a bad one either. Like, I think it's actually probably... I think I would rather play that than PlayerUnknown's, but I just don't like that style of game.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't like the whole go and loot and, you know, constantly deal
It's like a
with
tower.
not
It's
enough
like a
stuff.
tower. It's like a tower defense FPS. Yeah.
Yeah, the building aspect I think is kind of interesting in that, but I don't know. I just didn't care for it.
Yeah, it's definitely not my my cup of tea either. I mean, it looks interesting. I wouldn't mind playing it like with you guys or something, but it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to, you know, do or whatever.
Yeah, it's cool that it's free. I mean, you know, PlayerUnknown's is not free. It's like $30, and they have, you know, I think it was something like 30 million concurrent players or something like that,
Well-
which is insane.
Well, that's because they just got out of what do you call it? Their open beta phase or whatever.
Right. But you still had to pay for it during the beta. Like,
Which is
you still had
bullshit
to
too.
buy it.
Yeah.
It was early
Yeah.
access. Showing
Yeah,
in -42. It's not that cold here. It's like -20 maybe. -10
Yeah.
or something. It's been cold. We got like a foot and a half of snow.
Right.
I don't know what that is in meters.
Yeah, we were in like I think -10s one day. It was pretty cold,
It
but
says
like
it's
it
8
wasn't.
right now. I don't know
Yeah.
what it feels like is. It says it feels like 5. So it's not that bad
They were
compared to
saying
what
New
it has
York
been.
was gonna feel like almost -100. I don't know if that's really true.
That sounds
How
bad.
is that even true?
I
How
don't
can that even-
know. I don't know if it really was or not. But
That's
with
like
the wind
to where
chills
you
and
can't even
everything.
go outside, kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You got 2 feet of snow. Where are you at, if we can ask? Like,
He's like,
Ontario
"I'm not
or
telling you."
something? I mean, it's not like we're going there. It's like -97 or something.
Well, I
Right.
guess with wind chills, if it's negative like 50s and then you got wind chill, I can believe it feeling probably like that.
Yeah, I don't want any part of that.
Nope.
I mean,
Good.
Russia
Thanks.
probably feels like that.
I like it better than 100 degrees out, or like 105 and humid. Like, I'll take 10 degrees below.
Greenland.
Greenland? Okay. I always feel like they mixed up the names of Iceland and Greenland. They need to just change those. Just swap
Just-
them.
I was gonna say, I think they did that on purpose for whatever reason.
Trick people into showing up there.
Right.
It's always green here, right? Fuck no. It's warm. Yeah, no thanks. You should
And
move.
this is warm.
Right.
Oh,
No thanks.
I would like to see Greenland.
You sure if it's not -97?
Yeah, that's, yeah.
I'm sure. there's
Preferably
really
not
good
negative
pictures on the
anything.
internet.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
I would rather go to like Ireland or Jamaica.
It snows during the summer?
I mean, I'm okay with that. I don't particularly want summer either.
Is it
Although I
really
don't know that I
technically
want winter all
summer
the
then
time.
if it's snowing?
Well, I mean, it can be the warm season.
Yeah.
If it's -97 or feels like -97, like 32 is probably warm by
I
comparison.
mean, granted, I guess if
Like,
you're in the
I'm-
mountains and stuff,
I'm
it's
excited
gonna
about
be...
it getting up to freezing so I can actually stream in the garage and have a second monitor.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I've started hearing weird phrases on TV where they're like, "It's gonna get warm this weekend. We might get back up to freezing." I'm like, that doesn't sound warm.
bitch, you're confused.
Right.
Maybe.
You have no idea what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
no, it's,
Not just kidding.
yeah, I was gonna say
okay.
it's definitely not that cold in summer there.
That don't make sense. Oh.
Nice.
Awesome.
But did you guys get to play any of the Vigi games?
I mean, I'm playing Fallout right now, so
I'm playing Bubble Witch Saga.
Still, what level number are you on, Angela? Like 8 billion?
Yes,
Yes.
Exactly 8 billion.
exactly. No, I actually had to start over because I got the new Facebook profile. So I'm only on like level 100 something right now.
Oh.
Only
100.
Yeah.
Yes, only 100.
Wow.
Well done.
damn.
Hey, man.
I actually got to play a bit of my Switch finally. I haven't touched it a whole lot since I bought it.
Nice. I meant to ask if you were going to take that to the cabin with you.
I did. I had started playing some Mario Kart, which I'm
Mario.
pretty terrible at. There's a lot of stuff since the N64 version I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah, it's real different.
But that's been a lot of fun. The only problem is I need to get more of the side controller things because you can use each one as its own controller,
Right.
and that can really only be comfortable in the hands of a 3-year-old because those
Right.
motherfuckers are small.
I've heard the Pro controller is pretty good. It's
Yeah,
also
I'm
real
gonna.
expensive.
So
I'm
Titus, you
gonna
need
use
Titus
it.
to help you.
I mean, this thing is like, hold on, it's tiny. Like
Yeah.
you gotta hold it like this the entire time you're trying to play Mario Kart, and your whole hand just cramps up. It's not fun.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
Yeah, negative 97. You want your fur coat for sure. I agree.
And then I also played some more Breath of the Wild, and I finally got out of that stupid tutorial area that is way too hard for being the intro to the game.
Right.
But so far, the rest of it is just amazing. Like, I think I might like this over Skyrim, to be honest.
I've heard a lot of people say it's one of their favorite games ever.
Yeah, it's super detailed. Like, the way everything looks is just amazing and beautiful, and the combat's interesting. It's sufficiently hard, you know? Like, Skyrim, there's never a puzzle where you're just like, oh, how the hell do I get through this? It's so hard. Like, no, Zelda, I'm trying to find the strategy guide right now because it's fucking hard as shit. But that also, I've been really angry about that because Breath of the Wild just came out on the Switch like not that long ago, and you cannot find the strategy guide for it anywhere.
Yeah, I know a lot of people streamed it, but that doesn't really help you. Like,
Right.
YouTube walkthroughs, if you like know what you're looking for, is probably helpful.
Yeah, well, I just miss having a strategy guide, and I wanted one. But they
Don't
pulled
they
the
just sell
strategy.
one?
They pulled the strategy guides from the shelves just after they released it for the Switch, so they could put out a new strategy guide with all the DLC stuff in it.
Oh.
But they haven't released it, and they're not saying when, so there's currently just no way to buy a strategy guide. Unless I
That's a
want to pay
problem.
like $80 on Amazon for a used copy, which I absolutely don't want to do that at all.
Right.
Those always came out before the actual game came out.
Well, they did, and then they pulled it so they could put out an updated version.
Oh.
Give me that lighter.
So that's really frustrating.
I would say so.
Yeah,
Other-
I would definitely agree.
I've been mostly on Overwatch other than that.
Yeah, I'm still not thrilled about the winter event. I ended up only getting one event skin and then buying one. I did luck out and get the Hanzo event skin from my one loot box that had a legendary out of like 36 or 40. And then I bought the Soldier 76 because I thought it was the best looking.
Oh gosh.
Let's see, I know I bought Ana, and then I got Junkrat and Sombra from boxes.
Yeah.
I
wanted
think
the
that's
Sombra
all
one.
I got.
needed a good skin for her.
I mean, I'm not upset that I got it. I didn't really care about it, but for the same reason, like, it's pretty much the only decent skin that she has now.
Well, I get her a lot in Mystery Heroes.
Same.
So I was like, I at least want something that looks decent when I end up playing her.
Yeah. But I got Junkrat and Ana, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
There you go. I didn't get anything because I really didn't play it, so
Good job, honey.
Aw, sad.
whatever.
It probably didn't
I wasn't
like the
that-
period that you put in there. Fabulous.
I wasn't that impressed with the skins and stuff, and all the ones that they had were, I couldn't afford them because I didn't build up any currency. Which that's the other problem is like now it seems like it's twice as hard to get any sort of
Yeah, because you don't get as many duplicates.
right. It's
So
like
you
I
just
almost
get
wish they would
player
go.
icons in every box now.
Yeah, I was talking with that about it. Some guy at work was talking about it, and they were like, "Well, they got to make money on the game." Like, yeah, but
Not that much.
right. I mean, they got enough people playing the damn game. Like, how much more fucking money do you want? And buying the fucking merchandise. Like, does that not translate into sales or what?
Yeah, I mean, their loot boxes aren't as terrible as a lot of other games like Battlefront, but they're still really, really harsh with not giving you loot. And, like, I think one of the things they really need to change is if you get winter loot boxes or event loot boxes, stop giving me legendary skins that aren't from the event.
I agree. That's really retarded.
Yeah.
Because I
You
ended
would-
up getting like 2 that aren't from the event.
You would
Mhm.
think that if they're going to give skins during an event, it would be the skins for the event and it wouldn't be for like previous events or whatever.
Right.
That seems
let
like
us
a
buy
really
those.
stupid idea.
Take
Yeah.
the previous event out even, or the previous year. And,
Right.
you know, just let us buy those for the 1,000, which makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I have no idea why they do it that way, but whatever, guys. I mean, it's your game. We're just playing it.
Well,
Just
and we
a
did
squirrel
our,
trying to get a nut or a skin.
Right. Some nut skin, you know, as it is.
You really want?
We did our placement matches too, and that ended up pretty much exactly as we expected.
Terrible.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly the same placement essentially as last season. I think mine was in like within 50 points.
Oh, I think I dropped like 200 or 300, but
Yeah, because you did way better than I did last season, and then I did better than you did this season for placements.
yep. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I never care. I'm gonna get my icon, so neat.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I think I've got all 8 seasons now. I'm probably going to continue getting the placement icons to level or event 10 or whatever, season 10, and then I'm going to stop getting those more than likely, or at least not make a point of it. But I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter if you play competitive or not. The only difference is I just hate that you're stuck playing both sides of the map with a shitty team.
I've been doing that a lot more anyway because Matt keeps forgetting that he is the leader of the group, and so we end up just keep playing the next match over and over again, which just keeps flipping the same sides on a map.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I always leave just to give us a little breather.
Right.
You know, whether or not, like, I know it gives you a consecutive match bonus, but it's like 150 experience, which
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
means
who
literally
cares?
nothing when you need 20,000.
Yeah. I don't know. You guys have pretty much disenfranchised with the game to the point now where it's like, do we even want to play it anymore? Like, I don't even know anymore.
Oh, I still have a ton of fun with it. I play it all the
I
time.
don't really care for it that much anymore. I like Destiny a little bit more, but I don't know. I like playing it with you guys, but mostly just because we hang out and chat.
Right.
I don't really care what we play at that point.
I kind of like I still have fun with Destiny, but I'm really really disappointed with that game, to be honest.
Like, I
Like-
feel like you guys are talking about an ex-girlfriend. Like, you're like,
Yeah.
I still really like her, but she's
But
kind of crazy. I don't like to hang around her for very long. But, I mean, I still care about her.
I mean, yes.
This is like the conversation that's going on right now.
You're not
I
wrong.
mean, there's some
Fair.
validity to that theory there. Yeah. I never really thought about it till you mentioned it that way. It's like, yeah. Damn
You're
it.
like, you're like, I don't know if I should hang out with her anymore. You're like, oh, you guys can. I mean,
Yeah,
I'll
she
hang
looks
out. I
really
like
good.
to talk.
She
I
looks
like to
really
talk
good,
to her.
and it's really fun when when we hang out with her with all you guys, but just stay away from her when I'm by myself.
I mean, honestly, that's the way a lot of video games are reviewed too. Now that I think about it, because I've been watching a lot of those random YouTube reviews. It'll be like, yeah, when this game first came out, it was pretty attractive, but over the time, it's just like,
Right.
Yeah, I hate to be that guy, and it's like I still have fun with Overwatch, but most of the time when we play, it's like Dan wants to play anything else, and like Zach, most of the time when you're really playing and stuff, like I'm at work or not available, so it kind of
Yeah.
defeats the purpose. So it's like, yeah,
Well,
What
and part of
ifs?
the reason I always want to play Destiny when you're on, Andrew, is because I still have that hunter that's not at max level yet.
right. And I only play that when I'm online with you guys, so it's like, yeah. Because you guys know more about where the fuck you're going and shit, and like I'm lost, and like I don't really have time to figure it out at this point. So it's like if
Right.
somebody knows where they're going, cool, I'll follow you, or at least try to. Because half the time I end up losing you on the map somewhere. It's like, where the fuck did he go? Oh, he's over there. God damn it!
yeah, no, we've done like most of everything in the game like 100 times over at this point.
Yeah, the only thing we haven't done is the raid.
Right.
Which we could probably do at this point because we're so over leveled for it. It wouldn't be that tough. But it's mostly mechanics. It's not like a shooting skill or a gear check. It's just you have to know where to stand and what to say at the right time.
Right.
So, I mean, literally, like half of the boss fight is calling out what symbol you see on the guy's forehead.
Okay.
Like, so half of the team gets sucked into a separate world, and you have to say what you see on the guy's head. And
Yeah.
every player sees something different, and then the guy that's not in that world has to go stand on the plate that is not the one that got called out.
Hmm.
Yeah, so if it's like, if you say 3 of the 4 items, the guy stands on the 4th item.
Mm.
Weird.
And then,
Sounds overly complicated
yeah,
for me.
and then after you do that 3 times, you can all jump out of that world then, and then go shoot him, and then keep doing that over and over until you win. Or if you screw up, then you have to start over.
Well, there you go then, I guess.
So, and that raid is basically like 4 different versions of that with different mechanics.
Yay. Ultra
again, it looks really
repetitive. Yeah, I mean, the game looks really cool. I like it. It's just like the problem with most games is like I like a story to get invested in. Like Overwatch doesn't have like a single player component, but it does have enough like story and lore and stuff.
The
like
characters are interesting, yeah.
right, the characters are interesting and the world they live in is interesting. So like that engrosses you. But when you're looking at Destiny, like, well, you got to do like all this extra fucking work to figure all that shit out. And it's like I have
It always surprised me that you didn't get really into the Division, because that has a really, really cool world and a really great story, but the gameplay is just kind of eh.
I couldn't
mean-
get into the story for that either.
the thing is with you, Dan, like you're more into that like Tom Clancy, like ultra realistic type shit. I'm not. I want fun. I want fun
Yeah, it
sci-fi
is kind of
silly shit. Like I don't.
And, yeah.
The world's already fucked up in reality as it is. I play games to escape that reality. So it's like I want to escape from what could potentially happen like tomorrow. You know,
Says
and
the
that
guy
game
wants me to play Friday the 13th with them.
Right.
that couldn't happen. That's not going to happen tomorrow.
Are you
Right,
sure?
it's Friday the 13th. I'll look
Yeah.
up when that is.
Yes, a dead child in a lake is going to suddenly grow into a 35-year-old guy with a hockey mask and kill you in a you know, I mean, yeah, let's look at what I mean by realism here. You know, but I mean, I just figured that one would just be fun for the idea of like us working together teamwork wise.
Yeah, no, I get you. I was just making a joke.
Everybody, everywhere.
But, yeah.
Sorry.
And then I did finally play some Shadowrun.
Yeah.
I did see you got on Shadowrun the other day. What did you think of? I haven't played that one. I've only played the original one. So what did you think of that one
it's
so
pretty
far?
great. The story is really, really cool.
Mhm.
I didn't realize how much it was like Neuromancer.
Yeah.
I feel like they ripped like 85% of that book off for their story and their stuff in that game.
So
Well-
what is Neuromancer? Is that like Necromancer, but only
it's a
with
book.
neurons?
No, it's a book about a guy that's basically like a super hacker essentially.
It's
Um,
basically like the Matrix kind of combined with an action movie,
Yeah.
like an 80s shoot 'em up. I don't know. That should be the next book that you listen to, though, Angela. Because if you enjoyed Ready Player One, you'd probably like Neuromancer too.
Right.
It's pretty short as well. But yeah, it's really good.
Yes, one of Shadowrun's main influences are the writings of William Gibson, who wrote Neuromancer.
Yep, William Gibson, Philip K. Dick, pretty much all the classic like cyberpunk authors from you know the 80s, like late 80s, early 90s, even the 70s to some extent, because a lot of those guys got started around that time. But yeah, they borrow a lot from that sort of stuff. Like that, like Shadowrun actually coined the idea of the Matrix before the Matrix was a movie. Like it, you know, and it doesn't really bear that much of a resemblance to it. But I mean, the
It's just
idea
a
was kind of
similar
like
premise.
Right. The idea was there. The ideas are there.
Like,
It's similar
so
enough
the-
to where I can see
the
people
intro
getting
mission in this game starts off with one of your characters plugging her head into a computer to hack the lock open, like the vault door open, and gets killed by the security system in the lock.
What the hell is going on? Oh.
Is that mine or yours?
Yeah, I think it was our audio splitter.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, all of a sudden it's like,
Oh,
is there a
it's
wind? Is there a windstorm? What the hell is going on?
Yeah, speaking of
I didn't hear anything.
internet stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really good. It's a little clunky. They don't really tell you what the controls are.
Yeah, I think once those other two iterations came out, they kind of assumed people like
Yeah.
played the first one, and
Well,
so they
which-
already assumed you knew how it worked.
You played Dragonfall, right?
Yeah.
So Dragonfall was really only an expansion to Returns, and then they just kind
Yeah.
of made it its own separate. So it might have just been because they expected you played Returns already.
Oh.
Is that an online one? Like,
No, it's like
No.
a single player RPG.
oh.
They do have an MMO-ish style one that's called Boston Lockdown, but I haven't yet played that one. It is on my wish list at some point to check out, but yeah, they do have a version that's like an MMO style where you get to create your own guy and run around and do basically the same things you do in the other games, but it's more in an MMO
And
style.
it's also kind of an interesting concept too, because you have like orcs and trolls and that
Mhm.
whole sort of thing.
But you've
kind
got
of
high
mixed in
technology.
with, the future tech. So you've got
That's-
people with like laser guns and hacking computers with cables coming out of their head.
Right. I
like-
mean, it's
Okay.
essentially the movie Bright on Netflix is like a prequel to Shadowrun. Like that's
Yeah,
like the early
kinda.
days before the high tech shows up.
They're
it's like
making
when
a sequel to that
it's
already.
like when the mythical creatures showed up before they figured out the future.
Yeah, that's why I recommended that podcast to you guys, the Neo Anarchist podcast, which I know, Zach, that kind of disappoints you because you were probably hoping it was more of a real political thing, but it's basically, essentially the guy that does it, he's basically just giving you like all of the bits of lore like throughout the entirety of the years, I think up until like 2086 or something like that, or 2286, something like that. But basically it goes through like all of the different bits of lore throughout the entire Shadowrun universe. So if you definitely want to get a crash course in that stuff, I recommend checking out that Neo Anarchist podcast.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. I played some of the Shadowrun Returns.
Mm-hmm.
I got a good couple hours into that game and really liked it, but I have all the newer ones, and I really want to check out Hong Kong because that one looks really good.
Yeah, I've only checked out Returns, and I haven't quite finished that one yet. So I know once I do, I'll probably hop into the other ones. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at as far as Shadowrun goes at the moment. It's about the only way I can really play it because like one of my buddies that I used to run Shadowrun games that I used to play in, he keeps wanting to get guys together to do stuff, but it's like, dude, like I don't have the time, man. I'm not, I'm not single and childless anymore. So now it's like I got other shit to do. So, and everybody's available like on weekends and stuff. Like that's the time I get to be with my family and stuff because during the week I'm working. And most of the time I don't see them until the wee hours of the night if I get off work early enough. So, but I guess what he's trying to start from what I saw the other day is he's trying to do like. Doing Shadowrun games like via Discord, so that's kind of an interesting idea. Like that would kind of alleviate the whole like everybody has to be here and meet at the certain time kind of thing. Like you'd still have the certain time to meet up, but like you don't have to go anywhere or anything. Like you can do it from home, which I kind of like that idea. But the other thing with Shadowrun is like they're on, I think like 5th edition now. And the last time I played it, and the only rule book that I actually have for it is like 3rd edition. So I'm a little behind as far as what's been going on with Shadowrun since then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely would love to jump back into it. Like he's doing one where he's setting it in, because normally the game takes place in Seattle, which is the kind of like the only free state left in the United States. But I guess he's wanting to do one set like in Miami. So I'm like, that's kind of an interesting idea, like a high-tech future Miami with orcs and trolls running around. Like, Like that has lots of possibilities. I like this idea.
Yeah, it's an interesting universe. I wish I had played it years and years ago. I would have probably spent thousands of hours on it if I had started playing it in high school.
Yeah.
And I want to play it now, but I don't know that I really want to spend the time on it now is the problem.
Yeah, well, the one thing that's good about Shadowrun, and that's kind of the joke about it too, is the fact that essentially to play it, like all you need is D6s.
Right.
So you don't need to worry about any of that like D&D, like 20-sided dice and trying to figure out like all the equations of what you're supposed to roll when. Like all you need, like here's your stats: 6 Constitution, 6 D6. Anything 5 or above is a success. Anything 4 or above is a success. Everything below that, you're fucked, pretty much. Right. So, ones are automatic failures, obviously, but yeah, it's fairly simple to play. I mean, I know some of the mechanics and stuff have changed over the different editions, but yeah, I'm not as up on it as I used to be. So that's the other reason why I'm kind of like, I'd love to check it out again, but it's been so long,
Right. Cool. The only other thing I've really played is I played some Warframe. Got another frame, another couple of weapons that I have been working on for a long time. It's still real good. That's a real good game. I recommend it, and it's free.
Which one is that? Oh, Warframe? Yeah, I haven't played it in forever. I haven't even checked out the new stuff in it yet. So
yeah, there's a lot of new stuff in there. I haven't even gotten to the new stuff. Like, I can go do it whenever, I just haven't.
Yeah.
And then I have kind of been wanting to play World of Warships again. I really like that game.
I don't know. I've never really been that big into like naval warfare. I've always been more into the like the airplanes and stuff.
Yeah,
You didn't want to be a seaman?
You read baby
He
in
was
the
at some
air.
point.
Long time ago. Yes.
Yeah, no, I like the World of Warplanes a lot as well. The gameplay I really liked, but I don't know, there's something about the World of Warships. I like the movement and I like the torpedoes.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with the planes, it feels like it's either real fun, arcadey with the biplanes.
Yeah.
And then it turns into this really complicated like flight simulator like seconds after that. There's no like gray area in between. Whereas with World of Warships, you can kind of compete a little bit better without spending money on it.
Yeah.
So, and then World of Tanks, I couldn't do. It seemed real bad.
Yeah. I just like, why would we want to run around in tanks? Isn't that kind of like defeats the purpose of playing a game?
I mean, I like the tank thing. I just don't like the way that they make it. So, like, oh, if you buy the real money ammo for your tank, you can do more damage. It's like, yeah, that's kind of the opposite of what we want in video games right now.
Exactly, yeah.
So, and there's a lot of that in the World of Warplanes as well with the premium ammo and stuff. And then World of Warships has that, but you can kind of just not worry about it as much, whereas in the other two games, you're 100% going to have to deal with it every game.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's all pretty cool, though. Like, those are some of the better games out there that I don't think a lot of people play.
Yeah.
I would rather play all three of those than PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Right.
So, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it, I think, as far as what I've played.
Yeah, like I said, I finished up the Secret World Legends winter event, which, like I said, all I was doing was the public raid and everything, so it's not like I got to do like any real missions or anything.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fun with it. I got a lot of the cosmetic items out of it, which was a lot of fun. And I've upgraded a lot of my my talismans and weapons and stuff. So I mean, I've had a lot of fun being able to do that.
Nice.
So I mean, I'm still having a lot of fun with that game. I really like where that game is going. I was actually reading an article about it the other day where they were talking about how it's improved a lot, and everybody was kind of like skeptical about it at first, but it's like it's really improved a lot, and I think it's a way better game than when it originally started out. Like, one of the things everybody was complaining about was them overhauling the combat, but I was like, I always felt the combat in the original one was really, really clunky. Like, I just didn't really feel like I was doing much other than just spamming buttons. Like, at least this one with the whole reticle-based thing, like, you actually kind of have to aim a little bit.
Right.
so it almost plays a little bit more like even during the event when I was fighting the like the giant monster or whatever for the raid. There were times where I couldn't like hit it because it's like, well, it's not in your line of sight. And then I looked at my reticle or whatever, and it wasn't. Like, it was like green. It wasn't red like it's supposed to be on her. So I was like, oh god damn it! You know, like
Yeah.
let me reposition here. Okay, there we go. Now I got it.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah,
no,
but it was-
when that game came out, it came out around the time of Hellgate London, like shortly after that game. And I guess I was just really hoping for something a little more like Hellgate London.
Yeah. Getting a windstorm again. Am I the only one that's still hearing it?
No,
Yes.
we're getting it too.
I'm not
Okay.
getting it. I hear the furnace.
Yeah,
I
I can
hear
hear
some.
that, but this is different.
I'm just saying what I hear. Well, stop making the noise. Jesus.
Well, you couldn't hear it, so I was
I
trying
don't
to illustrate it for
understand.
you.
Like, it's
Let me know if it
weird.
goes away in a second here. Still there?
Nope. Up there. It was gone for like 2 seconds, then it was back again.
Oh, that's weird. I don't know. I think it might be coming from the microphone.
Yeah, possibly.
Stop breathing on it.
It's real far away. It's way
It
farther away
actually
than
is.
normal.
I'm just saying. Stop breathing so damn hard.
Yeah. Stop breathing. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, that's pretty much it, though, anyway, unless you guys have something else.
I have so many things.
I can tell. Alright, cool. Alright, well, are you guys going to be around for some Vigi games this weekend?
I'm probably not. I gotta go to bed so I can get up and work out because I didn't work out today.
Ah,
Oh,
I know you
Day
missed
off.
my sweaty selfies, you know.
yeah.
every day that I don't see them, I'm like, where are they?
Yep, every day. I get messages, what the fuck happened, dude? I really don't, but, you know.
That's their way of, you know, letting you know that you need to get back to working out.
Nobody really messages me to ask me that.
See, here I was trying to help you out, but
So, Andrew, Zero, are you guys going to be around or no?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I know for sure Sunday, but tomorrow I don't know what we're doing yet, so we'll figure that out.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll be around all weekend.
He's like, play with me, guys. Play with me.
That's kind of what my dick says all the time, but anyway.
Well, it's not like you don't have a willing participant.
I know.
All
I'm
the
just
time.
saying. I'm just saying.
I'm just glad that yours talks. Like, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I have to put my mouth over it to shut it up. You know.
It's like Blank Man when he's talking to the belt buckle. It's like, I would love to play with you, but now is not the time.
Yes.
When I'm in the break room at work.
Sometimes
Now
you
it's
gotta slap it around, make it shut up.
All these stories come out that I don't know about. Jesus.
Oh man. All right.
We always
well,
have
you
to
guys
end
a
on
good night,
a dirty note. Come on, man.
as
Of
always.
course.
All right. Well, have fun, you guys. I will talk to you this weekend.
Alrighty. Later.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
No.
That's an old picture. Oh, my thing actually went in this time. Yours isn't all the way in.
Oh, weird.
It didn't go all the way in last
Oh,
time.
yeah. Maybe that was the problem. Just didn't.
Put it all the way in.
Ha.
Darn, I'm a little late on the.
Where's the?
I'm gonna check on him to make sure he.
Why don't I have a stop streaming button? Oh, I know why. All right, later, guys.